How's it going, y'all? How's it going? We had to finish that song first. I hadn't never heard that song, and I heard it for the first time yesterday, and I was like, man, this is a good song. How's it going? That freaking alien dance. Yeah, we're gonna be doing some more reading today. I'm not sure for how long, we'll see. But last time when we left off, we had just finished Act 1 and got the cutscene for Act 2. Prince dancing emote win? you want that? I don't know what kind of dance I would do, but I could probably make one of those. It wouldn't be too hard, I don't think. My alarm blares into my ears, only to be swiftly silenced by my fist. My body switches into auto mode, carrying my subconscious self out of bed and into my uniform. I bet you are a good dancer. Nah, I don't think so. I don't think so. As always, my bottles of pills sit on my desk patiently, waiting for me to take them and pick out my daily dosage of medicine. 17 pills a day. Oh, that's rough. Before I know it, I'm opening the door to Class 3-3, glad to see I'm not the only one who seems to be a little hungover from festival week. I used to like playing those, like the Just Dance games and stuff like that. I haven't played one in a long time, though. Every face in the classroom looks gaunt. With the festival now over, it's as if everyone's life dreams have been achieved. With nothing left to live for, the students have relied on instincts alone to guide them to class. Or maybe I'm just reading too much into it. I slowly make my way to my seat, and it's only then that I realize why the room is so peaceful. Y'all might hear George's toy in there. He's going off on his toy. The squeaker. The seats beside me are blissfully empty. The world's loudest interpreter for the deaf has yet to arrive. And there she is. Darn, she was loud, wasn't she? I think I have to turn this down a little. You can't hear it. I had to change the audio a little bit whenever I stream The Evil Within because the game is so quiet for some reason. So I couldn't remember what I had it at, so I had to adjust it a little bit for this. Just as I'm about to sit down, the door flies open, revealing a resplendent Misha, drills bobbing from the dramatic entrance, an arm stretched towards the sky. Yahoo! It's all over! It would appear that not everyone is affected by the post-festival depression. The rest of the class glare at her, obviously thinking the same thing I am. Misha, still frozen in the doorway with her arms still in the air, nervously looks around. It's obvious that she senses the foul mood, but can't work out exactly what to do. Suddenly she jerks forward. Hey! As she stumbles into the classroom, she reveals Shizune, arms still extended from where she shoved Misha. Thanks for the entertainment, but shouldn't you two take your seats? Still slightly embarrassed, Misha takes a few seconds to realize she has to translate. Oh yeah, Shichon says she's not happy with you ditching us last week. We were really busy. Is that so? What about the stuff I already did for you two? Uh-oh, she's mad. She says that only counts for council members. Since you declined, she doesn't owe you anything. Misha leans closer and whispers conspiratorially in my ear. Actually, I think she's just a little sore that you didn't spend the day with her. She's really thankful for your work last week, though. Sensing that she is being talked about, Shizune lightly wraps her fingers on her desk until Misha turns around to face her. I can't understand any of the fast-paced signing. that's going on, but from Shizune's slightly embarrassed expression and Misha's poorly contained laughter, I can guess. While this exchange is happening, the door opens once again, this time at a much more reasonable pace. Infernal, have you still been playing Odyssey? I gotta get me a HDMI splitter for the PS3. That way I can use my capture card with it, so that I can start the Assassin's Creed series again. Because I haven't played the first one in so long. It's been many, many years. But I'd like to see the story again. You did a bit yesterday. Felt odd after playing Silk Song. Main story is done. DLC now. Oh, nice, nice. That won't take that long. You're almost all the way done. How are you liking Silk Song? You're still loving it? I watched Danny play a little bit of it, but that's the only gameplay I've really seen from it, besides like a couple clips online. But it looks fun. I told her whenever I seen her play some of it, I was like, I didn't know if I really wanted to play this, but now I do. It looked fun, her playing it. What the heck? George was right behind me and he just disappeared. He must have ran into the bedroom. Excuse me. Found a great place to grind rosaries so you don't have to worry as much if you die. Sass the weight off your shoulder. Nice. Jesus, hiccups, go away. Yeah, I know like a lot of people was talking about it was so much harder in Hollow Knight. And I know that the Team Cherry did like a patch, I think it was yesterday, that made like 2 of the bosses easier, I think. Hanako quietly enters the room and pulls the door closed behind her. Peering out from under her hair, she quickly scans the classroom. Our eyes meet and she suddenly stiffens. She closes her eyes, takes a deep breath, and then walks over to my desk. Good morning, Hisao. Morning, Hanako. You're a little late, aren't you? I was talking to Lily about today. So you got her list then. We can leave straight after classes in that case. Sure. I'm looking forward to it. Hanako briefly flashes her embarrassed smile at me, then hurries off to her seat. Which 2 bosses? I don't remember. I know that they aren't early game bosses, I don't think. Or are they? I don't think they're early game bosses. At least, that's what I remember. But I know a lot of people was talking about, why did you do these 2 bosses? Why did you make these 2 easier instead of like something fly and something else? During classes, it becomes apparent that it's not only the students that are a little despondent after the festival. Tao simply gives us a list of exercises from the textbook, and then sits behind his desk. I totally forgot about the brief lunch period for a moment. Such is the banality of the day. Let's see, I might still have it in my history that I can send to you, if I haven't watched too many shorts. I can't remember. It's mind-numbing and everyone seems surprised that the bells signal the end of the lessons. No, I watched too many. Never mind. As I am packing up my bags, Fizune and Misha flank and entrap me. Say, Hichan, it's still not too late to join up. There's a lot of post-festival paperwork for us to complete. Sorry Misha, I've got plans. As if sensing the cue, Hanako appears behind me, holding a small bag and trying to avoid eye contact with the outside world. Misha's eyes open wide, then she bursts into laughter. Wahaha! You move fast, don't you, Hichan? We won't disturb your date any further. Wahaha! Behind the roaring Misha, I see Shizune taking far too little interest in the scene. I might be taking this the wrong way, but I think she's deliberately ignoring me. I feel a gentle tug on my shirt and turn to see Hanako's eyes fixed firmly on the floor. Let's... Gotcha. Shizune Misha, I'll see you later. And I'm still not interested in the council. Spoil sport. I haven't heard that in a long time. Spoil sport. There's a Shellman in chat if anybody would like to catch it. Which I would. I don't think caps matters for it. Because I did all caps. Misha and Shizune retreat into the hallway, happily signing to each other. Got all your stuff? Let's head off. Caps are fine, I think? I think so. I think they should be. Floods of students pour out of the school gates and onto the road into town. It's a little weird. It's almost a scene from any other high school, but the illusion fades because of the occasional wheelchair or missing limb. Okay, I thought I forgot to do something. I don't think I did. No, I didn't. Okay, it's fine. One thing I do notice is that nobody's alone. And as Hanako and I pass through the gates, I notice that she closes the distance between us. Not enough to be considered close, but she certainly isn't at her usual, just a little far position. I guess we're not familiar enough for her to get as close as she does with Lily. However, even though she has moved a little closer to me physically, mentally she seems to have traveled a mile. Her hands clutched around the leather straps of her bag to the point of whitening her knuckles, her head down and her mouth pursed closed. Hey, I called it nice. She almost looks like she's being walked to the principal's office for the first time. I try to stifle a giggle at the thought, but it's futile. What's the matter? I guess there's no point in hiding it. Sorry. For a second there it looked like you were getting in trouble. What do you mean? I think you need to relax a little. We're not going too far, and it's only students around, right? Right? It bothers me a little to see Hanako so worked up. And you do this every week, don't you? Yes, with Lily. Of course, with Lily. I wonder, has she ever left the school without her? It doesn't seem like much at first glance, but Hanako's dependence on Lily is absurdly heavy. If she can't even handle leaving the school without her, how would she have managed to survive if the two had never met? Would she have found someone else to latch onto? And what drew her to Lily? Was it her lack of eyesight, or was Lily just kind enough to lend a hand? I wonder if anyone would have fit the bill. Well, I'm here. Besides, we're not going far. It'll be over before you know it. Hanako's knuckles slowly regain their color as she tries to hide a small smile, but the effort of that seems to prevent further conversation. We travel side by side down the winding road towards the town. A crowd of students stands as we continue along the sidewalk. Hey, George. Hey, George. He walked over here for a second, now he's walking away again. Faster students rush ahead, and the less mobile ones fall behind, rarefying the crowd into nothingness. I don't know yet what the stream schedule is going to look like for next week, because I have to get a couple wisdom teeth removed, but we'll see. I might only make a schedule for like the first couple days of the week, and that might be it. By the time we reach the convenience store, we are practically alone. Using me as a shield between herself and the attendant, Hanako moves through the narrow aisles, adding an assortment of items in her basket. Bread, milk, tea, thyme? What kind of convenience store sells herbs? Then again, nothing about this town seems normal, which may not be such a bad thing in retrospect. Everything is so different and uncomfortable. Dwelling on such matters isn't really an option. When I think about that, it reminds me of Hanako. No matter how much you try, you can't escape her scars. They still interrupt my train of thought whenever I see them. When I see them. As much as I don't want to admit it, I think I'm forcing myself to try to ignore them. Not that I am scar-free myself, the jagged line down my sternum will never completely fade away. I just have the luxury of being able to hide it easily. But in a way, both of our scars remind me that we're all in this place for a reason. Hanako throws one last item into her basket, then sheepishly holds it out to me, along with a few banknotes. Could you please? It takes me a second to understand what she's trying to say. Oh, you want me to pay for this? She nods but doesn't look up. I guess this task falls to Lily on the usual occasions. Sure, let me just grab a couple of things. Hastily, I grab a few essential items for myself and head for the counter with Hanako in close tow. That is good coffee. The attendant gives me an indifferent nod as he scans in the items. I suppose just ignoring us is one way to deal with the anomalies of Yamaku. They must get a lot of students here, being the closest store to the school. The staff must all have their own way of dealing with us. Or maybe they don't. Maybe it's only me who thinks twice about my unique schoolmates. Our transaction complete, Hanako and I head back out onto the street. The road is pretty much abandoned now. The students that were heading out have already left, and nobody has started returning just yet. It might be a little loud. Let's see. Hopefully that's better. If it's a little too loud, just let me know, please, and I can turn it down. And with only the school ahead on the road, there doesn't seem to be anyone else around. The emptiness certainly reflects on Hanako, her arms by her sides, each carrying a bag, her head no longer bowed, and back to the upright position. It's almost as if she were enjoying this walk. So why all these weird things? Mixed spice? Why would you need that in school? I sometimes like to make food. Well, yeah, so do I, but spices? That's a little more advanced, don't you think? Not really. Well, I think it's cool. You'll have to teach me one day. Sure. She doesn't seem all that sure, but pushing the point doesn't seem all that wise. At the very least, she seems a great deal happier than she did on the walk down here. That alone makes me a little happier. Outside the girls' dorm, Hanako and I sort out the grocery bags with our retrospective purchases. In comparison, my things look positively plain. I tell you, you're putting me to shame here. No, I'm not. I'm only joking. I have a stack of homework that I skipped last week, so I must leave now. Will you be alright getting that to your room? Yeah. Sure? Okay then, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. We part ways and I return to my room. Piles of paper sit upon my desk, begging to be completed. With the entire ruckus of the last week, I barely had any time to catch up. He didn't even do anything, really. I mean, he helped with the painting, but I think that was it, pretty much. He helped paint Lily's banner and stuff, but I don't think he really did anything else to help with the festival. I tried to keep up with my studies while I was at the hospital. Some of this stuff I've never seen before, even back in my old school. Oh, that makes sense then. He's kind of struggling with it. Totally unprepared, I pop the top on a can of drink and get to work. This game has one of my favorite soundtracks of any game. Maybe my favorite, honestly. The days are really starting to heat up. This morning I woke covered in sweat. By the time the student body starts leaving their dorms for breakfast and morning duties, the sun has taken full effect. Oddly, that puts me in high spirits. It's not even 8 yet. I feel like this day is going to be one of those pleasant, tranquil, warm ones. If I weren't at a school that considered every absence from class as a sign of life-threatening situation, I'd consider skipping the whole day and just relaxing in the school gardens. That'd be nice. Yes, today will be a genuinely lazy day. For a second I stop in mid-stretch and consider the nurse's warning about exercise. Maybe I should have kept up those morning jogs. Running with someone like Amy might have been a little testing, but if I worked at my own pace... who am I kidding? I couldn't stick to something like that without some kind of motivation. It's not like I sit around all day. The walk to and from the convenience store counts as exercise, right? Especially the walk back up the hill. Yeah, I would say that counts as exercise. Yeah, it's no big deal. Compared to months lying in a hospital bed, I'm getting plenty exercise. It seems that I'm not alone in my appreciation of the day. Nearly every member of the class is glancing through the window and into the tantalizing sky. Even the steadfast Shizune seems to lack her usual vigor for schoolwork. Misha, as brazen as ever, has even unbuttoned the top buttons of her shirt and is fanning herself with a notebook. I must have been staring, as she's now sticking her tongue out at me. However, she shows no signs of holding her efforts, nor is she trying to hide the fact. The lunch bell seems to catch everyone by surprise, and the class empties at a much slower pace than usual. The heat seems to be draining the need to rush from everyone. Well, almost everyone. Is Sal? Hey there, Hanako. What can I do for you today? Hanako already has a lunch bag in her hand. I don't have to be a detective to work out where this is going. Would you like to have lunch with us again? I brought enough for everyone. Awesome. You don't have to be so stiff about it, though. Right. I take it we're going to the tea room. But please. He didn't have to say that. She's trying. Lily says she'll meet us in there, so we should go ahead together. Sounds like a plan. This heat has made me pretty hungry. Hanako breathes a sigh of relief, and I gather my things together. As usual, the aura of the tea room is refreshing, feeling isolated from the rest of the world. Then again, the usual din of the school seems to be a bit subdued, most likely from laziness prompted by heat exhaustion. Hanako slowly spreads her food on the table, intently focusing on every little movement as if she's trying to keep her mind off of other thoughts. It's not much, but I can tell from her demeanor that she has prepared everything with utmost care. I guess Lily isn't here yet. Should we start without her? She'll be here soon. Hanako struggles with the lid of the container of rice. Here, let me help with that. I take the container from Hanako's hands and try to force open the lid. Try as I might, it seems wedged shut. Let me guess, did you put this in while the rice was still hot? Yes, I was in a rush. I put the container on the table between us. I thought so. It looks like this is wedged shut. We'll need some hot water to get it open. But that could be a pain in here. We'd get water everywhere. Well, in that case, how about I contribute to today's meal? At the door, Lily smiles while holding up a bag stocked with various buns and bread rolls. I can't help but do the same. I can't help but do the same. Oh, I guess smile is what he's talking about. Since you two had a change of plans because of me, I thought I would bring a little something. Thanks, Lily. Here, let me get that for you. With a little guidance, Lily's bread assortment joins Hanako's riceless platter. I hastily make some tea to complete the picture. Well, I'm looking forward to this. As I take a bite, I notice Hanako trying her hardest to not look like she is looking at me. It's nothing special, but then again I can't really complain. I'm pretty lazy when it comes to cooking for myself. Did you ever play the Fran Bow game? Fran Bow. I don't know if I've heard of that before. Let's see. It's a mobile game. Or I guess maybe they have a mobile game and then like a regular game. A creepy adventure game that tells the story of Fran, a young girl struggling with a mental disorder and an unfair destiny. Let's see. It's a graphic adventure game with psychological horror elements developed and produced by Kill Monday Games, a Swedish indie game studio. That sounds kind of cool. No, I've never actually heard of that. There's a sequel on the way, kind of a dark point and click style. Did you like it? Oh, there's a Sandshrew, by the way, in chat. Anybody would like it. Speaking of point and click horror games, I eventually want to start the Clock Tower series. I know at least the excuse me, at least the first few. Gosh, excuse me. At least the first couple are point and click type of style. But yeah, that sounds interesting. I always like, well, you know, I like horror games, period, but it's always cool to go from like an action or survival horror to psychological horror. I think that's probably the type of horror I play the least amount is psychological horror. Just because like I didn't grow up playing that kind. But it's always cool to get some good ones. I don't know if you've ever played it. It's kind of a newer, well, I think it came out 2019 or something like that. It's kind of a newer horror game. It's called Tormented Souls. That was pretty good. I played that, I think end of 2023 or the end of, or middle of 2024 or something like that. It was pretty good. It's kind of like a mix of Silent Hill and then like old school Resident Evil. I know they have a sequel on the way. Maybe it's came out yet. I don't know if it has or not. But that was pretty good, Tormented Souls. The only complaint I had was the voice acting. It was pretty bad, honestly. But the story was pretty good. And like the exploration stuff was fun. I should look and see if the second one has come out. I'd forgotten about it, honestly. Not bad. I guess this is made with the stuff you bought yesterday? Yes. Hanako's eyes shot at me, begging for some kind of feedback. Well, it was clearly worth it. Thanks, Hanako. I wanted to show you this after yesterday. It's okay. I was just a little surprised at the stuff you were buying. Hanako's always liked to experiment when it comes to food. I think it's good, most of the time. While Lily's smile doesn't waver, the slight change in her tone tells me that things have not gone so well in the past. And it's not like Hanako has made as many people to sample her cooking. There's also an RPG called Off that is hard to describe. Hey Aqua, how's it going? Congrats on first. Dang you, Aqua. Hey Bear, how's it going? How are y'all doing today? It's good to see y'all. Would you say it was called Infernal Off? Let me look that up real quick. I'm guessing this is it. One of the most influential RPGs of the last 20 years is finally coming to Steam. Take control of the batter as he seeks to purify an uncanny and hopeless world haunted by specters, guided by the cryptic grinning cat called the Judge. Oh, that looks cool. It's like, it looks kind of like Undertale, a bit. But it's got like turn-based combat, looks like. I've still never played Undertale. I have it, but I've never played it. Let me put that on my wish list to look at later some more. I'm MK, working, lurking the usual. Well, I hope you're having a good day at work today. Hope it's going well for you. Dark Undertale Run is an experience. I watched Nibble play some of it and Danny play some of it. but I've never played it myself. I've had it for a while. I've just never really gotten around to playing it. Hang on, was Lily waiting for me to go first? She didn't start eating until after I said it was alright. Her cheeky grin tells me that this was a deliberate action on her part. I'll have to try and work out how to get one over on her in the future to make up for this. Well, it's good, and that's all that counts, right? Right. Lily, satisfied at not being the first to sample Hanako's creation, begins to consume the food in front of her. I find myself staring as I watch her chopsticks gently touch the plate, their tips delicately poking a trace to quickly ascertain the positions of the food. She dexterously picks it up. One might think she were a child playing with her food, if not for the situation. Though she does it with such care and thoughtlessness, it's obvious this is simply how she eats this kind of meal. Not wanting to miss out, I start filling myself up. Hanako takes a different approach, waiting until Lily and I have our hands clear before quickly snatching up her share. That made her happy that we liked the meal. Before long, the containers are empty, save for the still shut rice container. Thank you, Hanako, that was filling. No, thank you for the bread. Yes, it would have been a disaster if not for that. You're both welcome. But now I must be getting back. It's far too easy to be late after eating here. Yeah, I see what you mean. I think we'll just clean up here and then head off. Well then, good day. Good day, sir. Lily leaves, her cane tapping away down the quiet hallway. Hanako and I quickly pack our things and stay seated, waiting for the bell. Together we stare out the window and into the endless azure sky. If it weren't for the pealing of the bells, I would have sworn that time had stopped. The urge to skip class rises in my gut. I shoot a glance at Hanako, who shows no sign of moving either. Not just yet. The interval between the warning bells and the end of lunch bells passes in the blink of an eye. We really should go. People will freak out and start a search party if we skip. Hanako sighs. You're right. Slowly she rises to her feet, and I follow suit. Silently we make our way up the old stairs to the third floor, and then to our classroom. At the door I take point and open the door ahead of Hanako, bowing my head down in apology in advance. I'm sorry we're late, teacher. I'm greeted not by stern words, nor by anger and instruction to take my seat, but simply by the silence created by 15 or so students trying not to laugh. Mutao, ever tardy, has yet to arrive. However, the fact that Hanako and I have arrived together is blatantly obvious. Make that about 14 students trying and 1 student failing. Wahaha! The lovers return! Wahaha! Yeah, thanks. You can calm down now. I step through the door and realize that Hanako is firmly pressed against my back, hiding herself from the class. With my steps coming closer to my desk, she eventually breaks from me and stiffly walks her on. Her efforts to mentally block everyone's presence from her mind are written fairly clearly on her face. Quickly checking the door for any signs of the teacher's arrival, I make a trip to Hanako's desk and whisper in her ear. Don't worry about Misha, she's always like this. I enjoyed myself today. Don't sweat it, okay? Hanako nods her head behind her folded arms, but still doesn't show her face. I yearn to stay and console her more, but Mateo picks this exact moment to enter the class, halfway through his lecture, as if he started in the hallway. Which of course is directly proportional to the charge, but inversely proportionally to the square of the distance. Dude, you're just saying things. You don't even know what you're talking about. He's so engrossed in his speech that he doesn't even notice me sneaking back into my seat from Hanako's desk. While Mateo's spiel rambles on, Misha leans over to me. The teacher may not have noticed your tardiness, but I did. That much is obvious from the show you just put on. I have been instructed to let you off the hook for today, but only on one condition. Oh? And what would that be? You have to help us this afternoon. I craned my neck to look over Misha's shoulder. Shizune is conveniently not making eye contact with me. Fine, just for today. I already told you I'm not joining the council, remember? Of course. Doing so could be considered. She looks down at her notebook, obviously looking for her place in her script. Under duress and hence would be against regulations. How very strange of you to be considerate of the regulations now. Things should be done by the book. It's just that the book hasn't been written for every situation, so there are times when it can be ignored. And yet you two wonder why no one else wants to be in the student council. That didn't make her happy. After poking her tongue out at me, Misha returns to her workbook, and we battle our way through the latter half of the school day. Before I can even stand up, Misha and Shizune have placed their hands on both of my shoulders. Hey, I said I'd help out. Damn. This is just insurance, Hisao. Insurance. Hisao? Hanako timidly tries to leave the room by circling around us, and I suddenly realize that this may be my one chance to escape. Oh hey Hanako, what's up? Hey, what makes you think you've got time to chat? Oh relax, this won't take very long. Sorry Hanako, you were saying? I was going to the library and I thought... Hanako's thumbs danced around each other, and her eyes flit around the room, looking at everywhere but at us. Sorry, Hanako, but Hisao has to come with us. He's got work to do. Oh, but you can help too if you'd like. So how about it then, Hisao? Uh-oh, we got our choice. We have our first choice of Act 2. Actually, our only choice of Act 2. What do you think, Hanako? What do you say, Hanako? If we all help, it shouldn't take long at all. Hanako's fidgeting answers my question before she can even form the words. I really need to go. Well, that was to be expected. Looks like it's just me and the council girls again. It's easier to resign myself to another afternoon's work in the small council office. I'll catch up with you later, okay? Okay. Right. Now that the farewells are over, it's work time. Misha and Shizune frog marched me to the student council office, never once letting go of my shoulders. Frog march? What is that? I don't think I've ever heard of that. I mean, I have from this, but I don't remember it. Let's see. To frog march is to force someone to walk forward by holding and pinning their arms from behind. Jesus. It's probably like a military thing. I feel a little bad for ditching Hanako like this, but if this is the price of getting Misha off her back, so be it. So then, what are we up to today? There's a wild ferrothorn in chat, if anybody would like to catch it. I don't know if I have that. I do. Debrief. Huh? Isn't that supposed to happen after something? Yep. We'll have to collate all the information from the festival so that Shi-chan can debrief the teachers. Shizune drops a large pile of paperwork on the desk in front of me and smiles succulently. Succinctly? I thought that was succulent. That's not succulent though. Succinctly? I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen that word actually. Succinctly? Something like that. Close enough. You need to sort those out into two piles. One for financial stuff like receipts, one for feedback, one for positive feedback, maybe one for things that look like they could be problems next year, one for problems that probably won't be able to be fixed. That's more than two piles. That's a few more than two piles, yeah, exactly. Huh? Alright. Yeah, I thought it would be only two piles. My bad. Right. While I'm doing this, what will you two be doing? Well, we missed lunch because we were collecting all these reports, so we're going to go get some food. Why didn't you just sort them out while you were collecting them? Thankfully, my self-defense mechanism kicks in and prevents me from opening my mouth and further worsening my situation. How is that fair? I was fretting over the unfair distribution of work so much that I didn't notice that Shizune had kept signing on. If it weren't for Misha's outburst, I probably wouldn't have noticed at all. Shizune seems to be delivering a fairly long string of commands to Misha, and none of them look pleasant. Reaching a conclusion, Misha signs briefly back to Shizune and then sits down at the desk next to me. Shizune is making Misha work too. Shizune waves to the both of us before disappearing out of the door. What was all that about? Shi-chan was worried that you'd get it all wrong unless you were supervised. And since she can't tell you how you are messing things up, she's making me stay. Ah, bummer. I wanted to go with Shi-chan. But she's going to bring us back some food. How good is that? Misha's flippancy is out of this world, from down in the dumps to on top of the world over some calories. At least we're getting free food out of it, I guess. Well, it's not free because we're working for it. So that's not true. It's hard to imagine how anyone could operate at this level. Well, it could have been worse. So what are we supposed to be doing? Collation. I gather that. Well, let's just start making piles. We'll work out what piles mean later. Right. We started to separate all the papers into increasingly complex piles. At first, it's just simple categories: financial, feedback, incident reports. Then they split apart into the good and bad reports, and further still, until it starts to look like we've just thrown the papers onto the desk. This is hopeless. Huh? Why? We're doing what we were told, right? Sometimes being too organized can be a bad thing, if you're going like that. Yes, but it looks like we're just making a mess. No, I think we got a lot done. Shi-chan and I will be able to work out the rest from here. So I think we can stop about here then. It's almost as if Misha's common sense left the room with Shizune. Still, there's no point in arguing. Anyway, what's the deal with you and Hanako? Deal? You were hanging out with her today, weren't you? Have there been any fireworks? Any gossip that you're withholding from me? If I told you about my own circumstances, it wouldn't be gossip, would it? I guess not. We're just friends, I guess. Why are you so interested? I thought you and Shizune didn't like her. It's not really like that. You know Shizune and Lily don't get along well. And since you can't really get Hanako away from Lily, we don't talk to her that much. That doesn't mean that I can't be concerned for her. What is there to be concerned about? Well, she never hangs out with anyone else, right? It's no good, Ichan. If Shizune and Lily dislike each other because their personalities are different, then I hate to think how Misha and Hanako would get along. I mean, in one way or the other, we're all in the same boat here, right? Well, I guess. This one time, when she left class halfway through, Shi-chan went to the teacher and asked what was going to be done about it. He said that every student here has special needs, and that Shi-chan shouldn't worry herself about it. Hanako never does any group work, she just runs off. Isn't that enough to be concerned about? I guess you're right, she still hardly says a word when we're talking. Well, that's more than I have been able to do. Shi-chan and I both tried when she started, but she got scared and ran off. I consider telling Misha that exactly the same thing happened to me, but she seems caught up in thought. At least she cares, I guess. Listening to Misha without Shizune's influence is interesting. I think she needs to realize that people here don't care what she looks like and that she can trust us. If she could, I'd feel a lot better about her. I think this is the longest I've watched Misha without seeing her sign. When she's with Shizune, she's constantly waving her hands around, explaining the world to Shizune. That amount of effort probably places a strain even on an agile mind. And let's face it, Misha isn't the world's brightest spark. Well, I keep an eye on her for you. But you should probably apologize for earlier. I don't think Hanako was cut out for that kind of joke. Oh? Oh. I didn't even notice. Sorry. Don't say it to me, just mention it to her. Alright. First thing tomorrow, I'll speak to her. Good. Cacophony from the door heralds the return of Shizune. I guess she can't really tell how much noise she is making. Oh, Shi-chan, you're back. Shizune appears, completely laden with goods from the convenience store. Oh, she went all the way to the convenience store and back? There was some surplus left from the festival. Since this is officially festival business, I've splurged a little. Nice idea, Shi-chan. 10 points. Is that really allowed? That made her mad. For someone who refuses to join us, you seem to take an unhealthy interest in the politics of this council. I shall punish your insolence by rationing your portion of the feast. Fine, I get it. Misha slides the multiple stacks of paper to one side to make room for an avalanche of food Shizune is spreading out. As I watch my hard yet misdirected work become wasted, I realize that it's little wonder why these two need help. That was kind of a cool sentence though, an avalanche of food. The convenience store meal isn't overly tasty, but at the very least it's filling. Thanks for helping today. Most of the time we just make up the reports for the staff. This year we can at least make up some relevant headings on the debrief. Are you sure this isn't a corrupt organization? Not at all. We're by the book. It's not our fault if the book isn't specific enough. I thought that was the definition of corruption. You think too much. You know what? You're probably right. I understand. Anyway, I must be off. That is, if I'm allowed to leave. Your work has been deemed sufficient. You may leave. Well, thank you. You know, if you stress the free meal side of things over the endless workload side, you probably end up with more recruits. You might just have a point. Well, think about it. And think about what we talked about. You don't have to tell that to Shi-chan if you don't want to. What? Oh, right. I'll try to see her tomorrow. Good night, Yi-chan. Night, Misha, Shizune. I think like 2 days have passed since we started Act 2. Usually days are quite long-winded. Chirping birds. Normally, this would be a good time to reflect upon the beauty of nature. But it is 6 a.m. Covering my head with the pillow, I slam my face into the mattress, hoping that the impact will send me instantly back to sleep. Futile. I toss and turn, but sleep simply won't return to me. I hate when it happens. Alright, nature, you've won. See, I'm getting up now. Lack of sleep weighs my mind down. There's only one remedy for all this, a nice hearty breakfast. It would be nice to be the first person here, to be the first to dig into a piping hot pile of food, to sit wherever I desire. It would have been nice, but even my exceptionally early start has put me behind the most diligent students. There's going to be an ad in about 3 minutes, just FYI to everybody. I guess there are quite a few people that have early starts here, for one reason or another. A group of students in sports clothes huddle around one table, eagerly discussing game plans in between inhaling great gulps of food. Scattered around the hall are a number of blurry-eyed students, probably suffering from the same ailment as myself, noisy birds. And of course, there are the people that actually enjoy getting up this early, the ones with their bags stuffed with textbooks and completed homework. Sounds somehow be woken up by birds. I remember when we used to have a farm when I was younger, and we had a bunch of chickens. There was like a couple of chickens that would get up in this dead tree, back behind where my room was. And, you know, chickens can't fly, but they can, like, jump up pretty high, and they can, like, kind of glide for a bit. And so they would jump up into the top of the dead tree. And it was pretty tall. And then they would jump from the tree onto, like, the top of the roof, like, right where my room was. And, roosters would, like, crow. They would do that sometimes. And it would be so freaking loud, because it would be right above, like, where my room was. And they would wake me up, and I'd be like, oh, what's going on? I would get so aggravated sometimes when they did that, because it would be so early. I'd be like, come on now. What are y'all doing on the roof anyway? And of course, there are the people that actually enjoy getting up this early. The ones with their bags stuffed with textbooks and completed homework. It's hard not to despise people like that, even more when you're so tired yourself. Picking out a familiar face from the thin crowd, I head towards the nearest table. Lily sits alone, delicately feeling her way around a small plate of eggs with her fork. Only eggs? It's almost a shame to interrupt her in her clockwork movements. I don't see how people eat eggs like just by themselves. I know a lot of people do that, like they'll eat just boiled eggs. I cannot do that. I wonder if this is how a blind person zones out, simply moving in predetermined patterns learned over the years, just like how a sighted person would eat while reading a newspaper. Good morning, Lily. I didn't expect you to be here this early. Oh, Sal, you startled me. I didn't know you took breakfast this early. I don't. This is an exception to the rule. I greatly prefer to be late to school than early to breakfast. Lily gives a small sigh at my admitted tardiness as I begin eating my food. It doesn't take long for her to lapse back to her previous mindless nibbling. Each short motion lacks energy. I suppose this is similar to letting your eyes wander while performing any ordinary chore. But after a few repetitions of the find food, eat food cycle, Lily puts down her fork and dabs her lips with a napkin. Sal, do you mind if I ask you a question? She looks sad. Damn. All I want is a little food and about 4 hours of sleep. And nobody says, can I ask you a question for a simple question? Sure. Do you think of Hanako as a friend? Huh, this seems like a leading question. I guess so. Why do you ask? No real reason. I do have another question though. Why is it that you think of her as a friend? This is well above my level. What is she expecting from me? I'm not really sure. I guess it's because she's a little different in the way she deals with people. Since I've known her, she hasn't really connected with anyone. She doesn't seem interested in other people, and I think people are a little scared off by her appearance. Really? I thought that kind of thing was, well, discouraged here, discriminating and such. If I were to put it one way, she furrows her brow in thought, a move which makes me slightly anxious as to what she's plucking from her mind. I'd say that you're a little naive. Naive? I'd be insulted if not for the slightly cynical grin on her face. I see. I like this song right here. There is a wild houndstone in chat if anybody would like to catch it. While Yamaku has a slightly stronger sense of community compared to other schools, it's far from being free of conflict. Rules cannot remove human nature after all, only suppress it. That's something I've noticed actually. Just little things like how certain people and cliques avoid each other in hallways. It's no different than my old school, really. Even Lily and Shizune could be considered bitter rivals, even though they both seem like fairly accepting people. Well, at least Amisha attended as Shizune does. Who knows what actually goes on with her fingers and behind her glasses? I guess you're right, but when I first came here, everything was a bit of a shock. I kept on making mistakes, or at least thinking I was making mistakes, like when we first met and I said I'll see to you. I didn't know if that was considered rude or anything, so I tried to just put it in the back of my mind, treating people any differently and that kind of thing. So I didn't. I told myself that Hanako and you and everyone else was just normal. I tried to ignore the obvious. I talked to Hanako as if she were any other person, and so we became friends. At least that's how I think it happened. But I feel guilty just from saying something like that aloud, as if it took extra effort to think of Hanako or you or anyone else here as normal people. I don't think that's right. Asao, I think you are naive, but I also think that you are a good person. It is perhaps one of your better traits. I suppose I can take that as a compliment. Tell me, are you free tonight? If you don't count homework, then I'm as free as the breeze. In that case, would you care to join myself and Hanako for tea? I don't really have that much money at the moment, so going out isn't really... Oh, I didn't mean going out, just here this evening. You can access the classrooms in the evenings here? No, that's not what I meant. Hanako and I often use my room for tea parties together. Please feel free to drop by after dusk. Sure, I see no problem with that. What's your room number? 225, room 25 on the second floor. Okay, sure. Well then, I had best be off. I have class representative duties to attend to after all. Until this evening, Asao. Yeah, catch you later. Hang on, was I just invited to a girl's room after hours? Is that even allowed? There's the curfew here, but I've never heard any rules about visitors in the dorm rooms. Even still, this is enough to get my sleep-deprived brain jump-started. Add that to a lukewarm breakfast, and you have one hell of a pick-me-up. Jesus, Asao. I grudgingly go to class, still a little excited at the prospect of breaking the rules. Breaking the law, breaking the law, breaking the law, breaking the law. I seen the music video for that song yesterday. I've never seen it before, and that was an awful music video, honestly. I feel a little like a kid planning to sneak out of his window at night. Well, maybe that's going a little too far, but when you compare an invitation to a party to 6 or so hours of lectures, I know which one wins. Misha and Shizune do little to relieve my boredom either. For once, they seem determined to actually complete Matao's assignments. Nevertheless, the day eventually winds to a close. I hurry back to my room to wash... Get out of here, Nat. Jeez. I hurry back to my room to wash up and comb my hair. Thankfully, I don't run into Kenji. Before long, I am leaving the boys' dorm. I nervously rap on the door marked 225, checking my watch once again. Is that you, Asao? The door is open. You can come in. Lily's voice slits through the door and soothes my nerves. This is the first time I've been invited to a girl's room after dark. Even though I know there is no ulterior motive behind this invitation, it doesn't stop my mind running wild possibilities. One guy, 2 girls in a dorm room, the tea set. When I put it like that, it sounds a little dodgy. Given a small sigh to steady myself, I gingerly put my hand on the handle and open the door, craning my head to see inside. I wonder if Hanako knew we were coming because she looked shocked, kind of. That is a small table as well. I mean, of course it's a dorm room, so you would have a small one, but that one's like right on the floor. It's like barely any room to sit up under, it looks like. The door opens completely and I catch my first glimpse of Lily's room. Her furniture looks almost antique, but the bare walls and flat surfaces are barely decorated at all. In the center of the room sits a low table, where I see a small tea set at rest. It seems that everything in this room has its place, possibly excepting the several piles of books stacked up against the wall. My sense of vision isn't the only one to be stimulated. A faint smell of something can be picked up on the air. Nail polish, perfume, makeup, it's hard to describe in any way other than girly. My eyes finished their quick sweep of the room before returning their position onto the girls. Lily sits next to the small table, wearing very dark blue pajamas. Dark blue pajamas with shorts that show off plenty of her alluring pale legs. Opposite her, Hanako sits adorned in a conservative light pink gown. Her hands are firmly fixed between her legs, her shoulders forward, and her head down, as if she's trying to hide herself in it. It would be easy for her to do. It looks about 2 sizes too big for her. Waves of flannel flow from her frame, making her look like a child playing dress up in her parents' clothes. Flannel? I've never heard the word flannel to describe somebody, except like if they were actually wearing like flannel clothes. Let's see. It says, use bland, fluent talk to avoid addressing a difficult subject or situation directly. Oh, okay. That's what that means. I've never heard it used that way before, I don't think. Apparently, it says it's British slang, but I don't know if that's true. She looks up to confirm my identity, and the beginnings of a thin smile creep across her face before vanishing so fast that I can't be sure they were ever there before. There's no point in you standing in the doorway, Sal. I take a step into the room, closing the door behind me. My, I'm afraid this really is a small room for the 3 of us. Would you like to take a seat? I slowly walk to the table and sit down, trying my hardest not to disturb anything along the way. I also can't help but steal a quick glance into Lily's top as I sit. To be robbed of sight would be a most terrible fate. Dude. Well now, how about some tea? Hanako, could you please pour? Sure. Sal, would you like? I would love some tea. Do you need a hand? No, I'm fine. Thank you. Lily finds it difficult to resist a smile at her companion's nervousness, something I can't really blame her for. Been a tiring day? Yeah. I relax at my place, opposite of the cabinet. To my left is the blue-clad Lily, and to my right sits the peaked Hanako. The tea set on the table looks cute as well as practical, painted red with floral motif. It looks odd when contrasted with Lily's plain but generally sophisticated-looking furniture, which leads me to think that Hanako might have picked it out. There is a slight ting when Hanako accidentally clips the teapot on a cup as she is pouring. She breathes in sharply. She must be really nervous, as it's not the kind of thing anyone would worry about. Hanako quivers at her mistake. It's okay, Hanako. There's no need to be nervous. Hanako seems to find some confidence in Lily's reassuringly soft-spoken words and deftly pours the next 2 cups. Here you are, Sal, Lily. Hanako carefully places a cup and a saucer in front of Lily and myself. I could get used to service like this. Thank you, Hanako. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, you're welcome. Lily searches for her cup and upon finding it, sips delicately. I do the same. This tea tastes somewhat better than the tea we usually have at school. This is nice. It's so different from any tea I've had before. Looks like you picked the right one, Hanako. You've done well, even if it was a bold move. Hanako's smile returns, redoubled. Even with her blighted face, her shy smile couldn't be called anything but cute. Why would you say that? That's rude, dude. Blighted face? Come on. I'm glad you like it. Hanako finally began to relax, sips from her cup. I wonder what kind of tea it is. I think back to my chat with Misha the other day. Is Hanako's behavior something to be concerned about? Or is she just shy? And then there was Lily this morning. The concern from both of them seemed to be genuine, and they know the situation better than I. But really, how could I possibly help? I'm no plastic surgeon, so I can't really help her appearance. Dude, you're just saying rude things again. Nor am I a psychologist who can make her more sociable. So what the hell do Lily and Misha want me to do? It's frustrating. Hanako and I quickly becoming friends on our own accord, and because of that, it's like everyone wants me to solve all her problems. And I have no idea how to do that. Nobody is asking you to do anything like that. And no one can cure my heart, no one can cure my heart, nor Lily's eyes, nor anyone who is here in this school. However, I see no harm in becoming better friends with Hanako. Now that she's warming up to me, I kind of enjoy hanging out with her. So Hassel, are you enjoying yourself? Lily's words break me out of my reverie, and I take a second to consider where I am. I'm in a room with two girls in their bedclothes. This is something to be enjoyed. Yeah, it's relaxing, almost like I'm not in school anymore. Do you do this often? Quite often, but not as often as we take tea in the school building. Considering they do that nearly every day, that's not a big surprise. As I move to take another sip from my teacup, I find it sadly empty. That was delicious, thank you, Hanako, Lily. You're welcome. Yes, you're most welcome, Sal. It's nice to have a third person here. Well, anytime you need someone to fill that position, I'm always available. Always. One must be sure to get one's point across in these circumstances. Lily lets loose a yawn, which she successfully hides with her hand. Pardon me, I think I'm a little tired. I think we're all a little tired. My, how astute we are tonight, Hanako. We really should head to bed. We all have class tomorrow. Yeah, I should go. Thank you for your presence, Hassel. So, thanks. You'll come again? Not even a whole army could stop me. A 7-nation army couldn't hold me back, I guess. Or Hassel, I should say. I'm impressed by your determination, Hassel. Either way, you're right. We'd best get going. I stand up and make for the door. Hanako gingerly stands up behind me. I stop and face her. Are you coming with me? Hanako instantly blossoms into full blush. No, not. This room isn't. It's okay, I was only joking. Okay. Good night. Good night, Hanako. Good night, Hassel. Night, all. And with that, our tea party finishes. I'm still not sure what it is that Lily wants me to do for Hanako. I don't want to let her down. I wait until the door has closed behind us before turning to Hanako. Hey Hanako, you don't have to be nervous around me or anything. I mean, we're friends, right? Right, we're friends. If you ever want to hang out or anything, just let me know. We still need to have that chess rematch, remember? Sure. But I don't think you'll win. It wouldn't be any fun if it was easy. Hanako seems to give a muted laugh, but she could have just as easily been exhaling. Good night, Hassel. With that, Hanako quickly retreats into her room, located next to Lily's. I start to walk back to my dorm, but the simple act of walking seems to drain me of my energy. There's a wild swablu in chat if anybody wants to catch it. Let's see if I have it. I do not. I barely make it to my room before I'm hit by a wave of exhaustion. I kick off my shoes, fall into bed, and fall asleep by the time my head hits the pillow. Excuse me. I wonder what kind of tea they was drinking. Me and my wife drink a lot of tea. We have so much tea, it's kind of ridiculous, honestly. We probably have I don't even know, probably 300 bags of tea or 400 bags, just of various kinds. I pull my door closed, ready for another day of classes. Sleep well. Kenji's sudden arrival makes me jump. I narrowly avoid butting heads with him. I know he has poor eyesight, but he knows who I am now. Does he still have to stand this close? Oh, yeah, like a baby. Damn, why do people say that? Have you ever heard a baby sleep? They scream all night, every night. Babies don't sleep well ever. Well, there goes my restful state. I have to remember to never use figures of speech with Kenji. Alright, I get your point. It was a figure of speech. Yeah, sure, whatever. Where were you last night? I had a favor to ask, but you weren't around. For a split second, I considered telling Kenji the truth, that I was spending time with Hanako and Lily. Thankfully, that split second passes as soon as it came. I was just out, checking out the local area and stuff, recon. Good man, good. I knew you were the type to plan ahead. Anyway, what was this favor you wanted? I was going to get some takeout, but I needed change. Wait, what? I gave you money last week and you still haven't paid me back. Starting to think you were cool. Kenji fishes around in his pocket and produces his wallet. As he counts out the 400 yen he owes me, I can clearly see that at least two 10,000 yen notes. Hey, what the hell? Why are you borrowing money off me when you've got that much cash? Kenji hisses a little, realizing that he's been had. So he said two 10,000 yen, that's, that'd be 20,000 yen. Let me see what that is. That's $135.78 USD. Kenji hisses a little, realizing that he's been had. Get off my case, man. It's bad luck to break a big note for anything less than half of its value. It's the tycoon's rule. I've never heard that. Last night's dinner is going to cost me 7 years of bad luck. 7 years? Don't you think that's enough cause to help someone out? I'd get a shorter sentence if I just stole the stuff. My common sense screams at me to say something to him, but thankfully I restrain myself. Arguing a point like this with Kenji will just lead to further, more complicated discussions. That's true. He's just gonna argue with you about it, pretty much. Yeah, I guess you're right. Maybe you should plan these things a little better. Yeah, man, I know. I've just got so much stuff to do, it's hard. You're never around anymore, so I'm on my own. We're supposed to be brothers in brotherhood, remember? When did that come about? Because I do not remember us ever having that conversation before. So I don't know how he came to that conclusion. Really? Yeah, I get you. Global conspiracy and such. I'll keep my ear to the ground. Kenji draws close enough for me to get a clear whiff of his garlic-tainted breath. You'd better, man. You're already spending less time here. That's the first thing they do. You can be Potters together. He looks like Harry Potter. Potter. They'll try to split us up. Divide and conquer. Sun Tzu said that. Roger that. Now I've got to get going. I've got classes. You coming? Nah, I'm tired. I stayed up all night just to make sure nothing was going to happen after splitting that note. As rational as ever, I see. Whatever, man. Night. Kenji scurries back into his room, and I hear him throwing his locks as I walk down the hallway. Oh, something that I am doing off stream is I've been trying to get all the retro achievements for Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets on the PS2, just so I can get the mastery for it, because that's one of my favorite games of all time. I've gotten a decent amount, but that game has so many in it. It's got you have to get every card in the game, and every card is an achievement. Every wizard card, and then there's some more that's difficult. Not played that one. It's pretty good, at least in my opinion. It is. The Chamber of Secrets and Prisoner of Azkaban on PS2 are pretty good. Goblet of Fire is terrible. Order of the Phoenix is pretty good. I've never played the Sorcerer's Stone or the Half-Blood Prince on PS2. I have to at some point. That is why some people can't roll their tongue, or why their second toe is longer than their big toe. Mattel beams a half-moon smile at us, obviously proud of his explanation of recessive genes. However, no matter how impressed he is at the science, that defines who we are. The classroom seems to be reduced to a stupor. Do Sorcerer's Stone? I can. I don't mind doing Sorcerer's Stone. I might do it next week or something. Let me write it down if I remember. Because it'd be cool to try out, because I know nothing about it on the PS2. And a cool thing is that every Harry Potter game is different on every system. It's like a completely different game. Some of my favorite games of all time too are is the Sorcerer's Stone and the Chamber of Secrets for the Game Boy Color. They're like turn-based RPGs. They're really good actually. Why is it that a bad explanation can make even the most intriguing and interesting thing seem worthless? I can see Mattel deflate as he realizes that nothing he said in the past half hour has sunk in. Whispered conversations start to break the silence, and like an avalanche, the noise level in the class starts to rise. Defeated, Mattel identifies some questions from the textbook and says to clearing up the blackboard. Almost as if expected, Hanako packs up her things and leaves as soon as people start talking and laughing among themselves. The initial shock of seeing someone place a blatantly truant has started to fade, but it doesn't stop me from wondering. Is she leaving because she doesn't want people to speak to her? Or is it just the thought of people around her shattering her peace? Before I can think about the topic any further, the lunch bell rings. I wonder if she was simply taking the opportunity to leave early. The usual clamor of students exchanging books for lunch reverberates around the room, and Misha is distracted. And while Misha is distracted, I grab my lunch and head out the door. Lily already sits in the tea room, setting out her lunch alone. So Hanako's not here then? Oh, Sal, how are you? I haven't met Hanako since this morning, I'm afraid. That's right, Hanako and Lily live next to each other. Somehow I think their morning conversations are slightly more grounded than Kenji's ramblings. That's strange. She left class early, so I figured that she'd come here. So, she's still leaving class early. Huh? Yeah, I've seen her do it a few times. Lily drops her head a little, and her tone of voice is notably depressed. It's very reminiscent of someone who is used to hearing bad news. I was so sure that she stopped doing that once you two became friends. Everyone has their own pace, I suppose. Well, I was wondering about just that today. Why exactly does she leave? I'm not entirely sure myself. I personally think it's because she doesn't want to be put in a situation where she has to answer someone. I have a flashback of my first meeting with her, when I thought she looked like a cornered animal. Maybe I wasn't far from the truth. But she seems fine with talking to you, and with me, a bit. It's a little more complex than that. I imagine that the first thing most people ask about is her scars and what happened. She rarely talks about it with me, but I can tell that she doesn't like to remember whatever happened back then. Leaving class and running away from discussions is her preemptive strike, if you will. Huh. So that's how So then how does that explain her talking to me? You said it yourself yesterday at breakfast. You tried to ignore her scars. Once she saw that you weren't going to ask her about that, she opened herself up to you. I guess you're right. Maybe. I don't know. You know her better than I, so I'll take your word for it. I wouldn't worry about that. I'm sure you'll come to know her as well as I do soon enough. I welcome the prospect of her having a new friend. Two of you have such similar interests. Well, I hardly count reading as a team sport. It is good to have company, though. That's my point. Hanako is still an average person at heart. She also wants company at times like that. Oh, I see. I think. To be honest, both of you still confuse me a little. That's only natural, Sal. We've only known each other for a little while. It's unreasonable to expect you to understand us, just as we can't understand you. But that is half the fun of becoming friends, right? Yes it is. Although, I suppose there is the matter of us being opposite genders. Men and women do seem to confuse each other quite often. She said this with a light giggle, finding amusement at the odd little details of life. I hope you don't mind, but I'm going to start eating. No, go ahead. I think I'll eat something too. I've got some books I want to drop back at the library before classes start, so I better get a move on. You'll probably find Hanako there as well. If you do see her, can you tell her to stop by my room later tonight? I'd like to talk to her. You're not coming? Unfortunately, I have a class representatives meeting later, so I'll be gone as soon as I finish my lunch. Okay then. If I don't see her in the library, then I'll tell her in class. I'm sure she'll be back after lunch. We fall silent as we start to eat, and I take a second to reflect on our conversation. I've always thought that Hanako's shyness was simply due to her being self-conscious about her scars, but that is a pretty superficial way of looking at her. Just when I thought I was able to see through the fog of Lily and Hanako, I realized that I'm more lost than when I started. Lily quickly finishes her lunch, acutely aware of her meaning. I don't blame her. Shizune is most likely going to be there, and I doubt she wants to give her the satisfaction of another argument. I must be off. Same time tomorrow? Same time, same channel. I better head off too. I don't want to risk being late. Lily smiles gently, picks up her cane, and walks out into the hall. I turn my back on Lily as we head in opposite directions. For some reason, I find myself hoping she doesn't get into another fight with Shizune. As much as I like Lily, Shizune, and Misha have been pretty... As much as I like Lily, Shizune and Misha have been pretty instrumental in helping me adjust, even if half of our conversations are thinly veiled recruitment attempts. Then again, I barely know either of them. Maybe they were previously leaders of some kind of secret society, but their love for each other drove them apart. Alright, Kenji. Man, I need to stop reading cheap fiction. It's rotting my brain. Either that, or I've got to move away from Kenji and his bad influence. That's what I'm saying. It's sad that I can't tell the two apart anymore. I agree. I slide my books down the return chute, and they crash into the cart with a pleasant thud. Yuko, however, doesn't seem as impressed as I. Hisao, you scared me. Sorry, I thought you would be used to that by now. Or is the literacy level here so low that nobody borrows any books? Jesus, dude, you're taking shots. Huh? I don't think everyone here can read fine. Yeah, never mind. There are some battles you can never win. Trying to explain jokes is one of them. My dad taught me that the hard way. Ooh, there's a Marie Pin chat. If anybody would like to catch it, go for it. I don't know if I have one. I do not. Very nice. Hopefully I catch it. Say, Yuko, have you seen Hanako about? She left class early, but she wasn't in her usual hiding place. I think I saw her sneak in before lunch. Oh, but I'm not supposed to tell anyone that. I just told you that I saw her leave, no need to stress out. Oh, of course. She's probably in the back. Thanks. Get any new books in recently? No, sorry. I'll let you know when we do, though. Okay. There's one thing I know about librarians, part-time or otherwise, is that they appreciate people who take a genuine interest in their work. I walk the now familiar path to Hanako's reading nook, picking out a few titles along the way. Sometimes I find it hard to discover a book that will interest me among the shelves. An author's name and two-word title don't mean much in a sea of similar words. Yeah, for me it's the way the cover looks a lot of the time. If you don't have a good cover, then, you know, that's not really going to interest me. For that reason, I sometimes reread books that I've read in the past. Better to bet on the favorite than a new runner. Hey, I call the Mareeb. Nice. An unfamiliar title from a familiar author peeks out among the spines of its neighbors, so I remove it from the shelf. At least I'm not going over old material. As expected, Hanako sits on her beanbag, buried deep in a copy of Dance, Dance, Dance. Hi Hanako, how's it going? I fight back the urge to ask why she left class early. If Lily's suspicions were right, then asking her about that could have the opposite effect. Best to leave it for the time being. Seems sometimes the best way to get an answer from someone is to never ask the question. Hello, Hasao. I'm fine. Something seems off, and after a couple of seconds, I realize what it is. Hanako's smiling. She looks as if she's pleased to see me. It's a nice change from the usual instinctively frightened reaction, and sometimes I hope I can see more of as we get to know each other better. Something I hope I can see more of as we get to know each other better. That's where I messed up. Good to hear. How's that book? I've heard it's a trip. Dance Dance trip. Get it? It's good, I think. I've only just started it, so I don't really know. Fair enough. Let me know how it goes. I may borrow it once you're done. Sure. There's a good 15 minutes left in lunch. Not enough to really get into a book, but too much to stand around doing nothing. Hanako's already returned to her reading, so I doubt I'll get much conversation from her. Oh well, I'd better make myself comfortable. I slouch into a beanbag and crack open my book. The familiar style of the author leaps out at me from the very first line. As the sentences turn into paragraphs, I start to relax a little. I remember I used to love beanbag chairs as a kid. I always thought they were so comfortable. But no matter how I try, I can't seem to get myself into the atmosphere of the book. This is partially due to the lack of time. The more distracting factor is Hanako. Every 10 or so seconds, she peers over the top of her book. When our eyes meet, she quickly ducks behind the covers. I guess she did want to talk about something after all. What's up? You look like a prairie dog on the lookout. It's nothing. I've told you before, nothing means something when you say it like that. Hanako squirms a little in her beanbag, hoping that by changing her position, she'll find the word she's looking for. I was in an accident. Accident? Just now? Are you alright? Hanako shakes her head, her hair flowing around her shoulders in wisps of amethyst on a background of pale and dark flesh. No, when I was younger. Realization crashes into me like a semi. When I was... It's alright, Hanako. You don't have to tell me anything if you don't want to. Again, she shakes her head. No, I won't. I have to tell you. When I was young, I was in a fire. My house burned down, and I nearly didn't make it. After that, I was alone. Hanako's eyes glisten in the dim light of the library, and I reach out to grasp her hand. It's okay, Hanako. You don't have to keep going. But I have to. Why? What brought this on? Last night, Lily told me about your heart. And I didn't think it was fair. Fair? That I knew about you, but you didn't know about me. I squeeze Hanako's hand a little. Don't be silly, but yes, I have a heart condition. I lean a little closer. What I didn't tell Lily is that I had my first attack when a girl confessed to me. I smile a little to break the tension. Really? Really? I haven't heard from her for a while though, so I guess it's all over. I know it's all over. There's no other way to interpret it what happened the last time I saw her. In some ways, not having heard from her again has helped me move on from that period of my life. So now we both know a little more about each other. But you don't have to talk about things if you don't want to. In fact, I feel a little bad even thinking about that whole incident. I can almost smell the hospital's disinfectant burning the back of my sinuses again. I imagine Hanako is going through the same thing now. When I was in the hospital, I went to the burn ward once, and only once. I was bored, so I went for a walk through all of the wards. I went through oncology and thought I could take it, but when I got to the burn ward, I turned around and went back to my bed. To think that Hanako would have spent months in a place like that, smelling nothing but corrupted skin, strong disinfectant, and sterilized air. The really bad cases were kept in isolated pods that no foreign objects could enter. That would have meant no reading. I would have gone insane if I didn't have my books in the hospital. And she said she was alone. Did her parents die? I'll have to ask Lily about it. I can imagine myself saying something dumb, unintentionally. So, thank you, Sal. I haven't told many people about this. To be honest, I haven't told many people about my circumstances either. Then I won't tell anyone either. Deal. I changed my grip on Hanako's hand into a handshake as the warning bells chimed through the window. Well then, we'd better head back to class then, eh? Sure. Oh, that's the end of Act 2. That was a short arc. Or act, I should say. Act 3, Castling. Do I not get an achievement for that? I thought that I would. The tint of the room slowly changes from the shine of the afternoon to the orange of dusk. A clock lazily ticks away the seconds, counting in the background, on the verge of hearing. But no matter how long I wait, the outcome cannot be changed. The diminutive playing piece makes a small click against the board. Like a wound spring. A wound spring. Wound, wound, whatever. Like a wound spring, Hanako makes her move only moments after mine. It's embarrassing. In comparison to my first 5-minute moves, she seems to know exactly what she wants to do. Mate? Again? What does that make this? 3-2? Stalemates don't count. Damn, you're getting better at this every day. That or she's been holding back. I never had thought it when I first met her, but she really has a knack for this game. Chess seems to have become a popular pastime for the two of us, hiding away in the tea room, playing a game or two after classes. From here, the students outside can just barely be heard milling about. The everyday noises from below remind me a little of my life before Yamaku, though I'm by now well aware that it's a life I'll never get back to. Fancy another game? I have to finish my homework. Oh, well, I'll see you tomorrow then. But what about this? Hanako points to the tea set surrounding the mostly empty chessboard. Don't worry about that, I've got it. Okay. So see you later. Hanako departs as I start cleaning up the area. The occasional whistles and cheers from the sporting clubs outside become less frequent, eventually approaching silent. A part of me still wants to be in some kind of team. Since I played soccer and other sports before my accident, I guess it's only normal to feel nostalgic about what I can't do anymore. But I have other reasons than that for my coming here so often. I don't feel so bad about losing that part of myself because of them. Lily is a good friend by now, but it's the small exchanges that I have with Hanako that feel especially dear. The small victories I feel every day as I see more of what she's like under the self-imposed shell. That's why I come here most of all. As I'm putting away the cups and saucers, I hear talking outside the door. Pausing for a moment to listen, I can make out that it's Hanako and Lily, and decide to go outside to investigate. Are you quite sure? I'm sure. Isao. Hanako turns to see me with a look of mild surprise as she notices my approach. Lily must have caught her just as she was about to leave. Oh my, Isao is here as well? Afternoon, Lily. What's up? I was hoping now that I've finished with my class representative duties for the day, that I might have the two of you accompany me for tea at the Shanghai. It would be nice to enjoy ourselves outside the school for a change. I'd be up for it. I think Hanako had work to do though. Yeah, it's not all that much. Wonderful. It seems that we're decided then. Let me drop a save. It's been a minute since I have. I cast my eyes across the cafe as the three of us step in. As usual, there are only a handful of people around at most, and the noise level is a quiet background hum. The hold Lily has on Hanako's arm remains just as it has been for the entire slow walk down the hill to the local town, though it's hard to say for which reason, for Lily's guidance or for Hanako's reassurance. For a moment, Lily removes her arm from Hanako's to retract her cane as Yuko quickly skitters over to where we stand, but soon replaces it right back where it had been. Welcome to the Shanghai. May I take your order? She gives a deep bow, her well-delivered and professional introduction putting her in a good mood. It's a nice change from the norm for Yuko. Just tea, please. Hanako, Hasao? I'll have a slice of pie and a coffee. That sounds really good, actually. That's a good combo. Just tea, please. Coming right up. Please take any seat you wish, and I'll be back shortly. You know that what I've been really wanting lately is some carrot cake. I freaking love carrot cake, because it's like not too sweet for me. Most cake is too sweet. But carrot cake is always really good. But I can't never find one. Yuko gives a smile and a nod before shuffling to the counter, and we make our way to some empty seats by the window in quick measure. We slip into our seats, the girls on one side with Lily's cane propped up beside them and I on the other. I realize that Hanako is not doing something that she so often does. Rather than keeping her eyes pinned to the ground and hiding behind her blind escort, busily trying to convince herself that the world around them doesn't exist, she's merely keeping her eyes low and helping Lily around. Are you okay, Lily? You look tired. There's a typo. Are you okay, Lily? You look tired. There's a typo in there. She lowers her head a little, looking somewhat embarrassed as she let it show. Class representative work can be very tiring, considering that it often means dealing with the student council. Very tiring indeed. How do the other representatives go? Better than I, but not by much. Shizune is a harsh taskmaster, no matter whom she deals with. Doesn't sound like you particularly relish the job. Why do you do it in the first place if it's that bad? Being a class representative is enjoyable, and I can deal with responsibility well enough. It's just that the people involved are sometimes... She trails off, cutting her words at a rather opportune spot. It's hard to imagine Lily cursing, but I imagine that if anybody could make her do it, it would be Shizune. Hanako looks to be writhing a bit in the light of such conflict, but before I can steer the topic away a little, she stands up. Hanako? I'll be back in a bit. There's a wild horsey in chat, if anybody would like to catch it. Horsey? I don't believe that I have one. So let's see if I can catch it. Sorry, I had to check something real quick. With that, she leaves for the restrooms. I suppose that's one way to deal with the situation, if that was indeed her motivation. Lily, however, looks a little wounded. Don't worry about it, I don't think it was you. But I think she's been getting stronger recently. You've seen it yourself, right? That went a bit awry. Fortunately, Lily doesn't look offended, and by now I really shouldn't be quite so scared of stepping on that landmine around her. Possibly. Sometimes I find it hard to tell though. Silence reigns for a moment before 2 teacups, a pie, and a mug of steaming coffee appears in front of us. I notice that Yuko takes special care to place the teacup against the tip of Lily's fingers, letting her know where it is. Here you go. Thanks, Yuko. Thank you. With a quick and silent bow, the bespectacled waitress takes her leave. Ah, that's right. I was meaning to ask you something, and now would be the right time to do so. I'm all ears. Hanako's birthday is coming up, and I was hoping that you might accompany me for present shopping in the city this weekend. Hanako's birthday is soon. I suppose it would be a nice chance to cheer her up a bit. Like Yuko, she always seems to be teetering on the edge of either panic or depression, and I've never seen her enjoy herself much outside of her chess games. All that aside, learning the layout of the city better with a friend keeping me company sounds like a good way to spend a weekend. Sure, I'd be happy to. Have you got any plans for what to do for a birthday? A party or anything? Hanako being Hanako, perhaps a low-key affair would be. Lily suddenly cuts herself short, leaving me to wonder why she brings her teacup to her lips and begins to sip. After a few seconds, I notice Hanako walking up to us over her shoulder. Lily's hearing must be very good indeed if it was the sound of the restroom door opening that tipped her off. Hanako takes her seat once again, and wastes no time in drinking her tea. Soon the three of us are quietly eating and drinking as the sun sets. It's a nice way to spend the remainder of the day's light, and it makes me appreciate the quiet and serene surroundings of Yamaku. I think I'm beginning to take life here, as isolated as it may be. I'm beginning to like. Wait a minute, let me do that sentence over. I think I'm really beginning to like life here, as isolated as it may be. I finish off the last of my coffee and rest the mug on the table while the girls talk between themselves. The coffee here is a little bitter for my taste, but still quite good. Better than what I can make for myself in any case. The girls' discussions mainly focus on their respective reading preferences, which does give me a little curiosity about a related topic. Hey Hanako, I was just wondering, aside from chess and reading, do you have any hobbies or things you like doing? She's completely stopped in her tracks, looking quite surprised that anyone would be interested in asking such a question about her. It takes her a little time to formulate a response. I guess I like singing a little. I'm okay with computers as well, but I don't use them all that much. Singing is not exactly something I expected to hear. It's hard to imagine her singing voice given how soft-spoken she is. Lily, on the other hand, simply nods. She must already know all this, since she's been friends with Hanako for 1 year or so by now. What about me? She hesitates before quickly flicking her head up and down. It's only logical that she'd want me to talk about my hobbies after she's told me hers. There's chess, obviously, but also, there was soccer as well, though I can't really do that anymore. Reading, which I picked up in the hospital. This is surprisingly hard. Lily and Hanako look a little put off by the direction this is taking, and the more I think about it, the more I am too. It sounds as if you've picked up quite a few things since your accident. Lily's candor is coated with probably the most positive spin one could put on what I said. Hanako, however, is silent. If a situation becomes difficult, her reaction always seems to be withdrawing into silence, in order to prevent things getting worse, that or physically retreating. A soft ringing gives us pause. As Lily reaches into her pocket, it becomes obvious that the sound's coming from her phone. Sorry. It's okay. Lily gives a quick nod before shuffling out of her seat and taking the call a little distance away to avoid disturbing the both of us. Must be nice to be popular. Hanako smiles but doesn't take up the hook for further discussion. I end up just sitting back and closing my eyes, relaxing as best I can. It's nice and peaceful here. I wonder what it'd be like to have grown up somewhere like this rather than in the city. You come from the city? Looks like I found something she wants to talk about. Yeah, you could say I was a city kid through and through. It sounds like a lot changed. It did. I'm still not quite sure what to make of all of it though. It's a bit of a culture shock in more ways than one. You must have gone through something like this when you first started at Yamaku, right? I'd imagine most new students would. No, not really. Hanako gazes a little to the side, looking unwilling to go on. I tilt my head inquisitively, but a couple of seconds pass with no further answer. Can't we deal with that on Monday? The fallout has hardly settled from the last. I understand. I'll try to talk her down. You know what she's like when she gets locked onto an idea. Yes, thank you. I'll talk to you later then. Goodbye. Lily's conversation ends with a snap of her phone closing. She returns to our table, but doesn't take her seat. Need to go? Unfortunately, class representative work calls once again. I can come with you. It's alright, Hanako. I'll just be going straight to the student council. There's no need to spoil a fine evening on my account. Besides, if you were to accompany me on my way back to the school, who would keep our poor Sal company? Okay. I can join you for tea again later tonight if you'd like. I may well need it. We agree on that plan, and Lily says her farewells to the both of us, taking her cane after Hanako passes it to her. Despite my offer to pay for Lily's share, she insists on giving us her portion of the bill and gives her regards to Yuko as she takes her leave. And then we're alone. It may be all well and good to leave Hanako and me alone to have some time together, but all it typically means is the two of us sitting near each other in silence for a while. I wonder what I must look like to Hanako. I never thought of myself as a scary person, but to have someone my own age acting this way around me makes me intensely self-aware, as if it's my fault that she's so troubled. She might get more used to people if she were to stop being so cloistered in Yamaku, but then again, when even people much older than her react so strongly after a single glance at her face, she may well feel the same way I do now. It's a real catch-22. If she stays in Yamaku, she won't get used to socializing, but if she leaves, any efforts she might try would get thrown back at her by the people who can't deal with her scarring. Want to order something else to keep us going? We haven't had much of a dinner after all. Hanako brightens and nods vigorously, glad that I brought up the topic for her. I catch Yuko's gaze, and she dutifully comes over to take our orders. Would you like something else? I'll just have a sandwich special and a hot chocolate. A bit late for coffee by now. Hanako? I'll have the same. With a nod and a bow, Yuko turns on the ball of her foot and returns behind the counter, where she busies herself fishing out bread and condiments and working the machine to make our drinks. Not a word is said between us and Yuko. Wait a minute. Not a word is said between us until Yuko comes back. She smiles and gives us our food and drinks before moving to a customer who's caught her attention. I give up on the prospect of having much of a conversation with my companion and decide to just enjoy the meal, small as it may be. It tastes nice, as does most of the food here. After having a few mouthfuls, I notice something's missing, namely the sound of Hanako eating. Looking back to her, I see Hanako fidgeting a little behind her untouched sandwich. Not hungry? She shakes her head from side to side. Even as she does, the patch of her hair she keeps over the side of her right face still does its job in hiding it almost entirely. It's not that. Oh, I was all ready to have your share too. You looked troubled. Is something wrong? I'm startled by her thinking that I'm the one who looks troubled, but on second thought, she's probably right. My face may have given away my emotions without me noticing. She's hardly a dim person, quite the opposite. We're friends, right? Friends. From the tone of her voice and shrieking posture, it looks as though I've hit yet another landmine. This is another reason why interacting with her is difficult. The self-imposed psychological barriers she puts up between herself and others, including me, and most even likely Lily. It's a shame that I think that we are. I'm a little taken off guard by Hanako's straightforward answer, all the more so since I was about to give up on getting any reply at all. I see. Am I wrong? So sorry, No, it's just hearing confirmation of that from you is reassuring. To pick up on what you said earlier, since coming to Yamaku, I've been a bit uneasy about how I should relate with others. I find myself chuckling a little. It's surprising how much of a relief that was. I can feel my face smiling as I pick up my cup of hot chocolate and bring it to my lips. Ouch, that's hot. That's why I haven't eaten yet. I was waiting for my drink to cool down first. I guess I'll wait then. The both of us share a little chuckle. The situation isn't really that funny, but for some reason, it feels like laughing is the most natural thing to do right now. I guess we were both a bit wound up about each other. I was so busy thinking Hanako was the one with something wrong. It took her to remind me that I was uneasy as well. Be that as it may, it still feels a little nice, and a little nice to have someone thinking about me like that in her own way. Dang it, freaking gnats flying around. Sorry about that, yo. I went and made me some Earl Grey tea. Sadly, I ain't got no orange peel, but that's okay. Orange peel just makes it better. Hey, Benny. How you doing, buddy? It's good to see you. Hope you're having a good one. Oh, connecting to chat. My chat reconnected for some reason. That's weird. Okay, whatever. Let's jump back in. Let me drop another save real quick. There we go. Following a long, quiet trudge up the hill and into the school grounds, the two of us find ourselves between the two dormitories. Regular night patrols pass between the male and female dormitory buildings, both for security and to quickly raise the alarm for any medical issues that may arise. The guard currently on duty notices us and gives a quick nod as he continues on his way. A loud yawn escapes from Hanako's mouth before she has a chance to cover it. I have little doubt she's fairly tired by now. I'd better be off to my room then. See you tomorrow, Hanako. Good night. We separate and begin to walk our separate ways before I stop and look back. Hanako stands there waving to me as she smiles. I smile and wave back to her, and after a few seconds she turns and walks up the stairs to her dormitory building, disappearing through the door. These little moments we share between us feel like a small treasure. One thing is sure, I want to protect that small, delicate smile so she so fleetingly wears around so few people. I wonder about these feelings I have when Hanako's around, and when I'm able to do things for her, whether they may be the seed for something beyond what we share now. Oh, I should have just read those few sentences before I went and took the break. That's fine. The summertime sun is something beyond Wait a minute, what? The summertime sun is something to be savored, but when combined with the clean country air, it's all the better. The track and field club members are horsing around on the field ahead. Some are playing with a soccer ball, others are talking, and a few laugh as two of them mock fight with each other. None of them pay me any heed as I sit alone on the grass, underneath the shade of a particularly large tree. It's a nice and peaceful moment after a dreary day of schoolwork. I played soccer pretty often before my heart attack, so I had thought it would be really nostalgic to watch some. What I'm feeling now, though, is quite distinct from that emotion. I think this girl's name is Maki, I believe. Oh, George was walking around in here. He must have went and laid back down. I hear footsteps approaching me from behind, and I turn to my side to see one of my classmates taking a seat beside me. I'm taken off guard, as the two of us haven't talked much before, and I didn't think anyone would notice me here. Sup, Mickey. I was close. Hi, Miura, wasn't it? Just call me Mickey. Surnames are too stuffy. Likewise then. We both look back out to the field where the guys are playing. It looks like they're getting ready to have a second game, with people spraying out to their positions and the ball being carried to the center of the field. Sure enough, the whistle is blown to begin the match, and they get right back into it. Not going to play? Nah, just gonna rest for a bit. What about you? You kinda look like you wanted to play when you were watching us before. So someone did notice me after all. It's kind of a long story. Her face says that I've piqued her interest. I'm in Yamaku because I've got a heart condition. I can't really play soccer anymore. Wanted to be a soccer player, did you? Nah, I only really did it for fun. My friends played it, so I played it as well. Any of those guys playing around could have been me before my accident, but I don't feel like I have any real wish to go back to that either. It's a little hard to explain. I'm still decently physically built from these days when I played, even if my strength's largely left me by now, and I got on well with the other club members. When I think about it, I should feel pretty bad watching people play when I can't anymore. Yet I don't. Maybe it's a good thing. A sign that I've gotten over it and that I'm ready to become a new person. Sorry, I'm kinda rambling. It's cool. I'm actually glad to hear that. It sounds like you really have your stuff together. Some of the people that come to Yamako are pretty messed up at first. So you're a member of the track and field club then? Yep, been in it since I first arrived. Don't suppose you're friends with Emmy, short, fast runner, no legs. I don't think there are all that many female track and field members. Haha, Emmy. Everyone knows about her, don't they? But nah, I tend to get on better with guys, so me and Emmy don't really talk much. Anyway, what about you? Well, I'm not really in any clubs. Real clubs, anyway. You've been hanging around with Hanako and that blonde Amazon, though, right? Blonde Amazon? I suppose Lily has the height to fit that description, if nothing else. I nod in response without making too fine a point of things. And don't worry about it. As long as you've got some friends, you don't need to join a club. A loud whistling from the field attracts our attention. One of the players is on the ground clutching his leg, and the other stopped play to jog up to him, leaving Mickey grimacing. Ouch, it looks painful. That guy really has bad luck. He must have got a cramp or something, I wonder. As she continues to look out onto the field, I can't help being reminded of her own injuries. Her left arm, ending in a stump rather than a hand, has been bandaged up for the entire time I've been in Yamaku, and her injury doesn't seem that new. She turns to talk to me again and catches me looking. Both of us sit in awkward silence as she takes her bandaged arm and holds it in her lap with her other remaining hand. So sorry, I guess I'm still a bit. It's fine, really. Her tone is light, but neither of us says anything afterwards. Every disabled student here has their own way of dealing with their problems, and some finding their conditions troublesome is only natural. I'm included among them, after all. The injured guy from the soccer game manages to get onto his feet with some help, and ends up hobbling off the field with one arm over the shoulder of another for support. Probably just pulled a muscle if he can still manage to walk. The whistle blows again. The game continues once more with one less man on the field. Hanging out with Hanako and that blonde girl, you keep some pretty strange company. How so? It's just that Hanako's kind of, I don't know, shy? No, it's not really that. It's just, she's got some issues, I think. I can't really put it in a nice way. Not that I don't think she's a nice person, though. She's perfectly nice. Just hard to deal with. It sounds like Mickey, or at least some other people in the class, have tried to get closer to Hanako in the past, and that it didn't go well. I think her judgment is rather harsh, given that everyone, not just those in Yamaku, have their own issues. Then again, I haven't known Hanako for that long, so it wouldn't surprise me if there was some stuff I didn't know about. I'll just take it as it comes. She's a nice person, and I think that should be all that matters. Mickey's eyes narrow a little and her smile spreads. You really like her, don't you? Mickey certainly doesn't mince words. Let's see. Act 3? We have 2 choices in Act 3, and this is the first one. And it would be admitted. To be completely honest, yeah, I do. I appreciate it if you didn't tell anyone. Hey, whoa, you can trust me. No problems there. To be honest, I think it's kinda cute. If you want to go for it, don't let me stop you. Thanks. She may say that, but she was just talking about Hanako having issues. Still, I want to hold myself to the words I said. Hanako's problems don't matter. I'll deal with anything that comes up because I want to help her. I just noticed that she's also wearing like the boys' uniform with the button up in the tie. I think I want to say that Rin is the only other character that wears that. That's like one of the female characters. If there's even the smallest possibility that I can pull Hanako out of her depression and seclusion, I should work towards that no matter what. If she needs a prince, then I will be that prince. No, I am the prince. Asao, get it right. You get that right now. There's a crustal up for grabs in chat, whatever that is. Sounds crusty. Or maybe it's a crustacean. I don't know. I'm guessing it either has something to do with sand or it's a crustacean. As I think about the possibility of a relationship, I can see Mickey grinning at me while watching my face. I'm no doubt blushing, and looking away from her only makes her laugh. Mickey gives it off a different vibe from the other girls. Talking to her feels more like talking to a guy than a woman. Her saying she prefers male company doesn't help to dispel that notion either. Little rock crab, okay, so yeah, a crustacean. Glancing at my watch shows that lunch break is ending in only a few minutes. Time to start heading back to class. Lunch is about to end. Want to head back? Yeah, we'd better. I pick myself up off the grass and dust myself off, offering a hand to Mickey to help her up as well. She takes it and easily pulls herself up, showing the muscles moving to her toned, bare arms in the process. Come to think of it, why aren't you wearing the normal girl's blouse? Yeah, it's too hot and constricting. The boy's uniform is better anyways. Never mind, that's the pre-Evo. Russell has a boulder as a shell. Okay. What we need is a rock lobster. I'm not gonna lie, Clever. I almost read that as Brock Lesnar. If I'm being honest. I have no idea why. How are you doing? It's good to see you. She throws her arms around to emphasize her point, which has the side effect of showing off one particular part of her body that would be especially constricted by the blouse. The two of us start the walk back to the main building through the gardens, talking as we go. Who is Brock Lesnar? No, Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar. I'm okay, just tired. How have you been? I've been doing good today. Just tired as well. It's really one of those low energy days. So I mean, it is the perfect day for reading, honestly. But Brock Lesnar is I guess he's still considered a wrestler slash MMA fighter. It sounds like you're settling in well. That's a relief. It was pretty surprising to get a transfer student at this point in the year, considering the exams are coming up. Don't remind me. Don't worry about them. Just cram it and you'll be fine. That doesn't sound like good advice. She claps my shoulder a couple of times as she grins. I don't think she takes school very seriously. You seem like a smart guy, and Mateo's taking to you well already. You're like a hand in a glove. Gotta work out whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. I still don't know what to make of this school. I've been here a few weeks already, but I still feel dazed at times. Only a few weeks, it seems like months have gone by, doesn't it? You'll get used to it, just give it some time. It's only a high school, just like any other. She makes it sound so simple, but I've never thought about it that way. To me, Yamaku symbolized a marked shift in my life. I was no longer normal, I was different, and was to be educated with other different people. And yet, I'm walking back to class and talking casually with a classmate during lunch. After watching some others play a soccer game, all perfectly normal. Maybe she has a point. Maybe I should try just... Wait a minute. Maybe I should just look at Hanako in the same way. Everyone has their own issues. This is hardly something unique to Yamaku. After all, it's only a high school, just like any other. As we continue to talk, I find myself smiling. Miki and I are very different people in almost every way, but it feels good to have gotten to know another classmate a bit better. And we never talk to her again, I don't think. A light breeze blows the scent of early summer around my head while I wait for Lily. Small white clouds litter the sky, breaking up the monotony of the blue. Sal, are you here? Lily's voice lilts on the breeze as if it were one and the same thing. I stop gazing into the sky to examine Lily. With a peach off-the-shoulder sweater and tan ankle-length skirt, in addition to tan sandals, she's quite a nice sight. Yeah, I'm over here, Lily, near the gate. Were you able to sneak away from Hanako? Yes, it's not uncommon for me to go out during weekends, so I don't think she noticed anything suspicious. That, and she has someone she sees. Lily purses her lips, as if she maybe shouldn't have continued. I find it a little hard to believe. Hanako's seeing someone? Really? No, it's just... she sees a therapist every so often on the weekends. Oh, well, that doesn't make a lot of sense. That does make a lot of sense. Lily rubs her arms uncomfortably, and after one look at her troubled expression, I quickly move to change the topic away from Hanako. Huh. Yes? I was just wondering, you can get around the city on your own? Lily sighs at my consternation surrounding the topic of her blindness. I'm my own worst enemy sometimes. I can, yes. It's easier when I'm out with a friend or my sister, though. I wonder how Lily gets along with her sister. Being an only child, it's hard to imagine what having a sibling would be like, so it makes me a little envious of her. Right. Well then, the bus arrives in a few minutes, so we should probably get a move on. Indeed. It's a long wait if we miss this one. With that, we set off for the bus stop on the hill. It's only a small distance from the school gate, so it's very convenient. It's a nice view from here. Coming from the city, I never really got to see scenery like this, let alone on a daily basis. This area is nice for me as well. It's tranquil and away from the noises and smells of the city. Lily's head perks up in a trademark gesture of hers, signifying that she's caught a sound. Oh, here comes the bus. I look down the road to see the bus trudging up the hill. Her hearing's quite a useful tool. The bus only takes a short while to reach the bus stop, forcing its way up the road, and within a minute we are on our way to the city. Walking around the city, I feel a distinct nostalgia. The smells, the traffic, the tall buildings everywhere. It's a lot like my native city, save for the raised walkways. It feels a little weird, walking around the city as casually as I would in a park, with cars rushing around underneath me. As I'm busily pondering the engineering marvel that is the raised walkway, I get a surprise. It takes a moment for me to realize that Lily has wrapped her arm around mine, extending her cane in front of her with her other hand. For a moment I'm startled, but I managed to keep enough of a lid on it for Lily not to notice. While it's not the first time that Lily's relied on me for guidance, she'd only held onto my sleeve cuff before. It's logical that it would be easy for her to navigate a crowded and complex area such as the city while securely linked, but I'm far from being as used to this kind of contact as Lily is. Finally realizing the growing silence between us as Lily waits for me to get moving, I quickly kick my brain into gear. You know, it was quite a surprise that Hanako likes to sing. Have you ever heard her do that before? I have indeed. We've been to karaoke sessions several times, along with my sister. I can't say I take to the activity much, but the other two like it. Maybe Hanako doing karaoke is more fitting than I initially thought. Just her and those she knows, all alone in a little room. It would give her a rare chance to let her guard down, with nobody else there to judge her. Maybe it would be nice to bring her into town for a karaoke birthday party if she likes doing it. I'm not sure she would deal very well with the excitement. I moved to protest, but her face shows that she's mulling the proposal over some more. It takes quite some time for her to come to a conclusion. Then again, the best thing we can do for Hanako at this point is to try to create some pleasant birthday memories. Continually treating her as if she's abnormal won't help. I think you're right. If she has something to remember apart from loss, then maybe she'll come around. We brought her something nice that she could see every day, then maybe she'd be able to take her mind off her past and remember that she has friends. And in any case, I think Hanako can handle something like this. In the time I've spent beside her, I've learned that she isn't quite as frightfully fragile as I first thought she was. So, shall we be off? I'm not really sure about the layout of this area. Very well. I might like to suggest having something to eat first. I haven't either, so that sounds like a good plan. Make sure you choose a nice place to sell. She gives a teasing smile, one that makes me smile reflexively in response, even if she can't see it. I'll make very sure I do. Don't worry about that. Once inside, I order 2 slices of pie and accompanying cups of tea and take them back to our table. I'd peg this cafe as the type to appeal to Lily, small and quiet, but well kept and somewhat upscale. Going by the dainty smile she wears, I don't really know if I chose right. It's very, very rare not to see her smiling after all. Nevertheless, I take a seat near her at one of the corner tables and lay down our small meals. Lily gingerly brings her head over the slice of pie placed in front of her, delicately taking in the aroma. Lemon pie, is it? Thank you, Hisao. No problem. The tea's just next to it, so be careful not to knock it over. She nods appreciatively, but judging from the slightly weak smile she has, the warning wasn't really necessary. I suppose the sound must have tipped her off to its position. We both tuck into our food without further ado, both of us remaining largely silent as we do so. Lily isn't the type to appreciate discussion while eating, and I can't say I like it either. Lemon pie? I haven't had any lemon pie in a long time. That would be good. Eventually, we both finish our meals, and the last of our teacups falls in short order. Lily's the first to break the silence. Wonder if my tea's cool enough. No, I don't think that tea is cool enough. That was very nice. I must say you've chosen quite well, Hisao. This is the first time I've really had much of a look around the city, so all I could really do is choose somewhere that looked nice. Damn, sorry. I feel really bad for inadvertently bringing up the subject of sight around Lily, but she doesn't appear to mind much, quite the opposite. She almost looks amused by my awkward attempt at an apology. You are thoughtful, Sal, but sometimes I fear that it gets the better of you. There's no need to change your speech on my account. Lily truly is pretty comfortable in dealing with her condition. I still hasten to change the subject, because I can't really say that I share her confidence in the matter. Have you lived here for very long? It seems like you have this place pretty much sorted out. She quickly raised her hand in front of her face to dismiss the notion. It's nothing like that. I've attended Yamaku since the start of high school, but I didn't walk around the city very much because Akira and my sister picked me up and dropped me off. Oh right, you mentioned not living in the dormitories until recently. It's quite a surprise. I just assumed she'd been living here since entering Yamaku at the least, which would give her a few years here. I've lived with my family for most of my life. Then I was just together with my sister. With my family having moved to Iverness long before, and Akira working longer hours, I ended up having to move. Iverness? Isn't that somewhere in Scotland? Oh, did I not tell you? My family currently lives in Scotland, the birthplace of my mother. My father's side is mainly Japanese, though. Huh. The question of what gave Lily her looks did cross my mind every now and again, but I never thought to ask. The answer's that, then. To be honest, I'd never have guessed. Considering you have no accent, I'm guessing you were born here. Full marks. I am thankful for my heritage, though. as without it, I'd likely have not been taught English so early in my life. And what of you, Sal? What about me? She gives a moment's thought. She probably should have thought of what to ask me before switching the topic. I'll go with, what are your plans for the future? To be honest, I haven't thought much about that recently. After my accident and subsequent months in the hospital, enjoying my life here with you and Hanako has been enough for me. In fact, I don't think I've thought about it at all about it. In fact, I don't think I've thought at all about a future for some time now. It seems almost futile. This is your last year of school. After this, you'll have to fend for yourself one way or the other. It's not like I don't know that. I just haven't put much thought into it since then. She opens her mouth to continue, but gives a small sigh instead. She seems to have realized she doesn't really know enough about my situation to go too deeply into this. Well, we all have our own pace. I just hope you'll take any chance you see. I understand. I'll think about it. There's a wild corfish in chat if anyone would like it. I don't know if I have that. I don't. Whoops. Let's try to catch it. As we walk back out into the city, Lily takes a hold of my arm once again. So, did you get any good ideas for a present? To be honest, no. I've never been very good at picking them. Me either, I understand. Picking presents is always very stressful for me. As absurd as it sounds, perhaps we should just look around. Hearing Lily utter those words stirs me for a moment. Right. How do we do that? That's just the reaction I was expecting. It's simple. You can go window shopping and just tell me what is around. If something interesting comes up, then we might get an idea. Right. I'm still not so sure of this, but I'll take your word for it. I think we'll manage. Hanako, my sister, and I managed to do it well enough. With Lily's simplistic and rather optimistic statement, we set off into the shopping district of the city, and I start describing everything I see to Lily. It's hard to think of Hanako going window shopping. She doesn't feel like the type to place much stock in fashion, nor have I noticed her reading magazines or the like. In fact, all I think I've really seen her do as a hobby is read books. There's a houseware shop just ahead. Looks like it's mostly crockery, though. I can't think that she'd have much of a need for that. And what type of message would that send to her? Cook more food? That's not such a bad idea, maybe. Sometimes it's best to leave these things alone, Sal. Once again, I get the feeling that Hanako's exploits in the kitchen aren't always successful. Lily must have had to help her with that sometimes. Let's see, next along is a bookshop. That seems like a good one. She's always reading. Yes, but there are a few problems with books. I'm not quite sure what she has and hasn't read. What about a gift card then? There's nothing as impersonal as giving someone a gift card. It's like saying, I don't know enough about you to work out what you'd like. I always thought of it as making sure they got what they wanted. Giving people gifts is supposed to show them the level of affection you have for them. If you can't decide on a simple gift for them, then how much could you think of them? Right, no gift cards. Lily seems overly passionate about this, but I can see her point. If you're going to get something for someone, then you should at least put some thought into it. If I want to get something for Hanako, that reminds her of us every day, what good is a gift card? In that case, what did you get Hanako last year? Porcelain doll. I thought that if she had someone to talk to, it might help her ease her pain. A doll isn't ever going to criticize her after all. So should I be looking for a doll shop? If you could be so kind to keep a lookout for one, I'd be grateful. Sounds good to me, though I wish you'd mentioned it earlier. But if I did that, then you wouldn't have started thinking for yourself, would you? Once again, Lily has a point. My brain is currently analyzing every store we pass for gift options. If Lily had mentioned a doll shop to begin with, I wouldn't have thought of anything else. We wander through the city streets, but seem unable to find anything that resembles a doll shop, or anything that I can consider a fitting present. The simple act of searching is starting to clear my head. The events of last week are starting to fade away, and I'm looking forward to giving Hanako her gift. If I can find one, that is. This is hopeless. I thought we'd be able to find something in the city for sure, and I'm sure we've walked down the street at least once before. Lily, you're making me effing tired. He probably is getting exhausted. I mean, he's been walking and walking. And then he's like explaining everything that he sees. That almost sounds like you're giving up, Sal. Yeah, she looks sad now, or concerned. I'm not, but it's a lot harder than I thought. Try not to be so restrictive in your thinking. Maybe we should actually go into some shops and have a look around. That might work. I've never really been good at window shopping. Lily and I circle around the city streets once more, this time popping into stores that catch our attention. In the end, though, nothing comes up as especially appropriate. Hanako's tastes are often quite hard to pin down at the best of times, thanks to her intensely private nature. And those tastes we do know are hard to accommodate. Maybe take a break for a minute. I'm a bit exhausted. I agree and leave Lily to rest against the railing while I go to get a couple of drinks from a nearby vending machine. After walking up to the vending machine and grabbing myself some lemonade, I find myself at a bit of a loss. Not really knowing Lily's taste, I decide to take a guess and grab something that seems a little girly, but not too weird. Strawberry flavored milk. Back. I walk up to her and place the carton into her outstretched hands, making sure she has a grip on it before letting go. She fills out its contours before opening it and taking a very tentative sip. Her approving smile afterwards telling me I made the right choice. We both rest and have a quiet drink for a few minutes. A familiar sound ringing begins to sound from Lily's side. Wait a minute. A familiar soft ringing begins to sound from Lily's side. She quickly apologizes as her hand goes into her pocket, pulling out her mobile phone. Do you mind if I take this? It's fine, don't worry. She nods to me and thanks before turning away and flipping the phone open, bringing it to her side of her face as she picks up the call. Going by the tone of Lily's voice, the person on the other end is no doubt some friend or another. I tune out of their conversation pretty quickly, as the snippets that Lily says make it sound like a little more than gossip. Without much else to do, I find myself watching Lily. She really is a pretty girl, which would hardly hurt her popularity in school. It's interesting just how much Hanako and Lily contrast with each other, in both personality and appearance. For a few minutes, I just lean back and drink, watching her. Before long, Lily says her goodbyes to the person that she's talking to and hangs up, placing her phone back in her pocket and leaning back against the railing as before. Sorry, just a friend from class. I take one final swig from my can before throwing it into the bin. Lily gives me her carton to throw away soon after, finishing off relatively quickly. You seem to have a lot of friends. Oh? Lily waits for me to continue, her interest piqued. I was just thinking that you and Hanako contrast really heavily. It's hard to imagine Hanako doing a lot of the things you do, or knowing the people you know. You seem to think about Hanako quite a bit. I don't know, it's just, she's mysterious, I guess. I kinda want to know more about her, which isn't that easy. It almost sounds like you're doubting your relationship to her. I don't think it's that. I just want to do more for her, being a friend and all. I don't really even know how she sees me. This statement seems to interest Lily quite a bit. I wonder if Hanako said anything about me to Lily during their conversations. I'm about to ask what's on her mind as she picks herself up from the railing. Shall we be off then? Her voice and expression show that she's playing games with me. Lily knows damn well that she's leaving me hanging. With a sigh, I pick myself up off the railing as well and have a brief look around. We have stuff to do, so I'll just try and get back to her about this later. Tucked in between a newsstand and a convenience store is a small shop. The sign above the door reads Othello's Antiques in decorative English script. It would be easy to miss if we were walking along the street, but since we're stationary and I'm purposely looking around, it's just noticeable. Say, Lily, that doll you got Hanako, was it new? Well, yes, but I'm not quite sure I know what you mean. I think I found our shop. It's across the road. Oh, what is it? Some kind of toy shop? It's an antique shop. I think it's probably going to be our best bet. Really? I didn't even know we had one of those near here. Neither did I. I missed it the first time we went by here. It's pretty well hidden. Well then, it can't hurt to check. My tea's finally cool enough to drink. Inspired by this new find, we quickly dust ourselves off and head towards the store, Lily's hand finding its way to my elbow for guidance. The store has a strange, musky scent to it. The layout is more like a garage than a store. Things are strewn around the floor without any immediate semblance of order. The shopkeeper gives us an almost bored look through his particularly small eyes. Wait a minute. I think that's a typo. It says the shopkeeper gives us an almost bored look, though his particularly small eyes. Yeah, I think that's supposed to be through. His face looks weary and tired, and his dress style is distinctly anachronistic. He gives us a polite nod of welcome before going back to his book. Anachronistic, I wonder what that means. I feel like I used to know what that means and have forgotten. Let's see. It means belonging or appropriate to an earlier period, especially so as to seem conspicuously old-fashioned. Okay. So basically it's just another word for old-fashioned. I probably won't remember that though. Lily holds tightly onto my arm, and I find myself having to split my efforts between making sure we don't miss a potential gift for Hanako and making sure Lily doesn't inadvertently bump into anything. The task is quite difficult, given the haphazard way the store is laid out, and the many things poking out of the shelves that they're on or sitting on pieces of furniture. But eventually we safely arrive at an old desk covered in dolls and teddy bears. I think this is the right place. There's pretty much every kind of doll you can imagine here. That should make the choice much simpler. Could you please pick one out for me, Hasao? I had a feeling that it would come to this. I picture Hanako in my mind and try to imagine which of these dolls before me would suit her the best. My eyes wander across the collection. Each one is as extensive as the one before it. The sheer number of styles is boggling, but eventually one catches my eye. Here, what about this one? I pick up a small porcelain doll that looks to be at least somewhat affordable. Dressed in a Victorian-era green dress with a little brown hat sitting atop its blonde hair, it looks a little like Lily. I gently pass it to her, who delicately feels her way around the object while wearing a look of slight concentration. It certainly feels beautiful. Do you think it would suit Hanako in your opinion? I think it would. It could look good in her room. In that case, I trust your judgment. Will you be getting her something as well, or shall this be a shared gift? I'm not sure. I think I should get her something myself, but I don't think getting her another doll is such a great idea. Maybe... I let my voice trail off as I look around the shop. Resting on a writing table not far from us is a decorative box that catches my eye. Wait here, I think I found something. My, that was fast. I gingerly walk through a collection of crystal glassware and pick up the box. The wooden sides are covered in carvings depicting ancient battles around a castle. The top, however, looks far too familiar. Alternating squares of white and black varnished wood are arranged on the lid. That's a really nice item. It's a chess set from overseas. The store owner's sudden appearance startles me a little. I didn't see him approaching at all. I suppose he's trying to help us because we don't really look like we know what we're looking for. Or, on the other hand, maybe he wants to keep an eye on us because he suspects we might shoplift instead. I'm looking for a present for a friend. I see. I guess I should give him like an old man voice, huh? I see. In that case, this chess set would make a fine choice. A realization floods into my mind. This is a pretty good looking set, but this is an antique shop. They're not well known for their bargain prices. How old is this? This is a reproduction. My best estimate is that it's about 5 years old. I see. How much? He thinks a little before telling me, which is slightly disconcerting. I'll let you take it now for 7,000 yen. I balk a little. I wasn't expecting to spend that much, but this does seem perfect. Then again, maybe that's a testament to how well he worked out how much he could make me pay. 7,000 yen. Let's see how much that is. I always like looking at prices like that. $7,000 is $47.52 USD. But the yen is like a lot weaker, so for them that is like a lot more money. Couldn't make it 5,000? 5,500, no lower. I'm sold. Oh, we'd also like to get that doll. The store owner looks over my shoulders, focusing on Lily and the doll in her hands. His eyes narrow, and he visibly takes a moment to switch mental gears. In the process, his smile drops slightly. I guess that means that not everything in his store is a reproduction. Are you quite sure that you want that doll, miss? I trust my friend's judgment. I see. Oh, no offense. None taken. If you could please wrap it up for me, it would be appreciated. Yes, of course, but it is 20,000 yen. We looked that up earlier, 20,000 yen. I want to say that was like $157. Let's see. That's $135.78. Hey, Benny, you caught it. Nice. I missed it. Lily reaches into her purse and presents 4 crisp-looking 5,000 yen notes. Here you are, 20,000 yen. The storekeep dutifully takes some in the doll and proceeds to the counter. I take Lily's arm to guide her there. Are you sure about this? It's okay. I have the funds I need. As I said, I trust your judgment. I feel a little guilty on 2 fronts. Firstly, because Lily had just spent a lot of money on my recommendation, and secondly, because I have a feeling the value of my gift isn't high enough. Nevertheless, Lily does seem to get somewhat awkward whenever the mention of money comes about. I hand the shopkeeper my present and the money for it in turn. He puts the cash into the register before busying himself with wrapping the doll and repeating the process on the chessboard. Eventually, he finishes the gift wrapping and hands us both our presents. Please be careful on your way back and do come again. Thanks. Indeed, thank you very much. The store owner bows deeply to us as we leave. I would like to learn how to play chess. Like, I've only ever really played it on the computer and games and stuff, but I would like to actually learn how to play it. Well, it did take us all day, but we found something in the end. That we did. Now that the presents are wrapped, I'm feeling a little impatient to give them to Hanako. It's a common reaction to buying gifts, wanting to see the reaction of the receiver as they discover what it is. And part of me wants to return to Hanako, just to confirm her condition with my own eyes. So should we head back? Let's. We've done a lot of walking today, so I shan't mind taking a rest back at the dormitories. Lily's right. Now that the need to find a shop is over, my legs are feeling quite tired. Well then, back to the school for us. I'm looking forward to resting for a bit too. Lily holds out her arm, and I link mine with hers. Together we make our way back to the bus stop. Mittal reads equations and formulas to us one by one in his usual unenthusiastic monotone, directly from the book. It's possible that he might be excited about what he teaches us. Sometimes he can display an awkward spark of passion for it, as if he's starting to get into the material. Most days, however, are like this one. What we're covering is fairly simple, so I find it increasingly difficult to keep my concentration on him. It's not too long until my legs begin aching again, which only makes it even harder. I'm almost starting to regret walking around the city yesterday with Lily. Since leaving the hospital, I've done very little physical exertion. Walking to and from the local corner store hardly counts. Despite Amy's attempts when I first arrived in Yamafu, I've largely given up on the idea of ever returning to my old level of fitness. I have little doubt that while walking around town for so many hours has made me quite so sore. It's depressing, and it reminds me of one more thing that I can't do since I've had my heart attack. It makes me feel pathetic. Now, Ikizawa? It's odd for Mittal to ask Hanako a question, but not unheard of. She quickly jumps to her feet, a little startled, and immediately pins her eyes onto him. She knows that Mittal calling on her is rare, so all eyes in the classroom are going to be on her. This way she doesn't run the risk of making eye contact with anyone. Yes? In this particular example of redox reaction, combustion of methane reaction actually produces one more product than is listed. That product is... Even though it's a softball question, she timidly waits a bit before answering, biting now slightly on her lower lip as if to keep her concentration. Heat? Well done. This is an exothermic reaction, with the reaction giving more heat than is put onto it. Receiving a nod from Mittal, Hanako takes her seat once again and gives a relieved sigh. A shaky start, but it's something. It'll be nice to take her out for her birthday, somewhere different from the usual isolation of her room in the tea room. With the progress she's made until now, I don't think she'll have much of a problem going into the city. Right then, for the remainder of this class, I'd like you to work in groups of 3 or 4 on the problems in Chapter 12. I'll be here if you need me. Mittal sits down behind his desk, pulls some loose sheets out of a folder, and starts on some kind of paperwork on his own. I thought teachers were supposed to do that kind of thing after class, not during it. Regardless, I look to my right to pick out someone to form a group with. Given the 2 smiling faces hovering near mine, I don't think I'm going to get much say in the matter. I suppose we have a group then. Hey John, you want to work together? Okay, that's great. It's really been a while. The class begins the process of noisily shuffling the desk around, with Shizune doing the same as she puts hers in front of mine. She's a little lucky to not be able to hear the din of the classroom, which is loud enough to cause some discomfort. Truth be told, working with Shizune and Misha is probably a good outcome. Shizune and I are pretty good at this subject, and Misha has really nice handwriting. As I look to Misha, I notice a tall figure behind her. The shadow catches Misha's attention as well, and she turns to face the dark-haired observer. Good afternoon, Hanako. Hello. Shizune finally notices Hanako after looking up and following the gazes of Misha and I. In quick measure, she taps Misha on the shoulder to get her attention before signing away. Shi-chan says if you're looking for a group, you can join ours. Hanako looks down and blushes a little at the offer. Out of all the people in the class, Hanako's most familiar with the 3 of us, so it's reasonable that she'd come up to us first. Then again, she's actually coming up to a group with the intention of joining them is something she apparently very rarely did before. She leaves briefly to drag her desk over, and Shizune and Misha will back to me as soon as her back is turned. I guess we get to play again, Hichan. You hardly ever play with us anymore. I wonder why. You two always seem to have some ulterior motive. That hurt, Hichan. I'd almost think you were insulting me. But it's He-chan, so I know that you're joking. Such a great sense of humor about it. It'd be awful if someone were to take advantage of your good nature, like making you help them with their work. Wahaha, man, I wish this net would go on somewhere. Shizune seems excited for a second, a little surprised that I'm willing to challenge her, but when she sees Hanako coming back, she backs off with a smile. I guess the mind games are over early today. Hanako gently sits down at her desk in front of Misha's. Her eyes are locked downwards, and I'm left wondering why until I look around the class. Most are busy setting up their own groups, but a few are casting curious glances at her. At this range, it's hard to tell whether this is where their interest in her ends, or if they are talking about her as well. It's strange. No one bats an eyelid when Hanako runs out of class to avoid group work, but now that she's making an effort, they're staring at her, as if she's done something wrong. We all move to sort ourselves out, spreading our textbooks and worksheets around the larger surface created by the four joined desks. It isn't long before the class as a whole gets down to work. Hi Hanako, it's nice to finally work with you. Yeah. Are you the reason He-chan has been avoiding us lately? She-chan says it's a little rude, but if He-chan wanted to spend time with a cute girl, it's understandable. I don't think it's like that. Hanako starts to fidget, unused to this kind of attention. I think that an ordinary person would drop the conversation by now, but Misha is like the antithesis of Hanako. Part of that includes being blind to ordinary social cues, while Hanako is overly sensitive to them. Because of that, Misha barrels ahead with the questions, too quickly for me to get a chance to interject, and guide the discussion somewhere more comfortable. Really? So? He wasn't hanging out with you yesterday? No. I can feel my cover being blown already. Lily didn't want Hanako to know that we were out buying presents for her, let alone planning out her birthday party. It wouldn't be good for her to find out. Yeah, I was doing something else. You know how it is. Really? I wonder what was so important for He-chan to blow us off like that. If it wasn't to spend time with Hanako, then what could it be? It's really interesting. Now this is starting to feel like an interrogation. I'm surprised at how Misha is able to exert such a feeling of pressure without actually intending to. There's going to be an ad in about 10 minutes. Not 10 minutes, 2 minutes. Just an FYI, everybody. Well, were you with Lily? I don't know where Hanako manages to stumble on the answer. She may be dreadfully quiet and shy, but she's very intuitive. What makes you say that? Yesterday, Lily said something similar. Suspicious, He-chan. I demand that you explain yourself. Hey, shouldn't we be doing the assignment? But it's so mysterious. Even Hanako wants to know. I turn to look at Hanako. It's true. From the expression on her face, it's obvious that she wants to know as well. And I think we're past the point where I could weasel out of having to provide an explanation. I apologize to Lily in mind. She really did want to keep it a secret, but now it doesn't seem possible anymore. I feel a rush of conflicting emotions, so jumbled that I can't readily justify them. But they crash around in my head as I try to calm down and speak. Alright, I'll tell you. I went into town with Lily, but it wasn't what you think. Lily and I were, for Hanako's birthday, the cat is out of the bag, but it looks like Hanako is taking it a little better than I thought she would. A brief silence passes around our little group as Shizune and Misha look at each other sheepishly. I can tell that they didn't expect their game to turn out like this. Misha looks up to Hanako in order to apologize, then pauses. Hanako is staring at the middle of her desk and barely moving, a maudlin expression on her face. I guess I was wrong about her taking it well. Hanako, I'm sorry. There's a few seconds pause, but Hanako lifts and shakes her head. It's okay. Her expression looks odd, like she's very tired. It doesn't seem natural, but it's nothing alarming. Nobody really wants to continue with the current conversation, so we open our textbooks and begin our group work. He could have just said that Lily was helping show him around the city or something like that, I guess. This is pretty dull. Although equations we're supposed to work out as a group will take a while, most of it is going to be boringly mechanical. It also doesn't help that while that didn't go as bad as it could have, it has left an awkward atmosphere around us. Still, we manage. Shizune's face betrays that she has about the same expectations for our work as I do, and the two of us begin to write our group's results. Misha, on the other hand, is scrunching up her lips and very visibly trying to make heads or tails of what we're doing. Hanako is looking on silently, absorbing what we write and what I say. She usually has this same expression when the teacher speaks. It's a shame her attendance is so unreliable. With the way she takes in information, I think she'd do quite well in class. If she actually followed the lessons regularly, I wonder if this might be why Shizune seems so hard on her. How dare you leave us like that? I had to. I just went and got me some more water and stuff. Hey Hanako, do you understand this? Misha looks to Hanako, but I suspect her hope is more to find a comrade in ignorance rather than genuine help. Is that Potato? He's laying over on the couch. He came in here. Give George a treat? I will, thank you. You want a tweet? Would you like a tweet? Would you like a tweet? Let's get you a tweet. Come here, Potato. Come here, you Potato. Here he is. Here's Potato. Hey, Mr. Potato. Here you go. Here you go. There's your tweet. What a precious little guy, the Wiggles. He always does that, like whenever you give him a treat. Whenever I ask him, he always starts spinning in a bunch of circles and starts sliding across the floor. Thank you for giving George a treat, Clever. Not really, I guess. I'm surprised by how tense she is in answering, but she settles back down. She breathes out, and the way her upper body and head lower reminds me of a deflating balloon. You okay? I could go over this bit if you want. Hanako shakes her head slightly, but then again, I don't think she needs the extra explanation despite what she said. Misha quickly interjects, entirely oblivious, and I end up slowly going through how we ended up at one of our results, step by step. Times like this reminds me that this kind of work may not be mechanical for everyone, but rather feels that way to me due to my grasp of the subject. It's a satisfying feeling. As Misha brings her balled fist onto an open-handed realization, I discover another nice feeling. My explanation got through to her, and she manages to work out the next equation by herself, with a minimum of guidance. Throughout all of this, Hanako is unusually unresponsive. She's normally very quiet, but one can still see her eyes roving periodically over the landscape of the classroom in front of her, or anxiously moving her hands in some way, or shifting her shoulders periodically. Right now, these small movements I've gotten used to seeing are all missing. Someone not moving at all is definitely weird. Even Misha can tell there's something wrong. Hanako, are you sure you're okay? Yes. Are you sure? I'm fine. A little more strongly this time, but she turns away as she says it. It only makes me doubt her answer, yet at the same time, I can tell she doesn't want to talk about it further. Having already had one very awkward conversation today that I'm still not fully over, I don't want to pursue the matter too much either. We settle back into our routine, debating over our answers whenever a doubt comes up, but as time goes on, I notice that Hanako isn't talking at all. It's frustrating, she had made so much progress. It makes me a little angry at Shizune and Misha for undoing the surprise Lily had wanted to keep secret so much. I know I'm at fault too. Maybe I could have kept it under wraps somehow. Shizune has noticed Hanako's silence as well, and is also getting antsy. I can see it on her face. It's strange that even though she's deaf, Shizune has perceived Hanako's unusual quietness sooner than Misha. Hanako, you're being too quiet. You have to contribute too. Someday we might work on a bigger project, like one that's so big it's worth celebrating afterwards, like with ice cream or cake. If you act like this, we won't take you along. I can tell they're trying to tease her to bring her out of her shell, but I don't think that kind of approach will work on Hanako. It would just make her feel worse. Guys, don't tease her like that. Hee-chan, it's all in good fun. Shiz-chan says she teases everyone anyway. They do back off though, with Misha moving away from the issue, by asking me a question again. On seeing how difficult the problem she's working on is, I don't know whether it was a skillful dodge or more coincidence. It takes way more of our time than necessary, because Shizune keeps disagreeing with me while I'm trying to explain it to Misha, and Misha is quick to believe her over me. So quick in fact that she forgets to translate what Shizune is saying. Hey, the clock is kind of ticking down. We should speed up a little. Hee-chan, you sound like a little like Shi-chan there. Just because I looked at my watch? Jeez, is that really all it takes? Time management and suddenly I'm the student council president. I look at Hanako's desk to see how she's doing and freeze. Our papers are covered in equations, but Hanako's only halfway there. It seems like she hasn't written anything in the past 20 minutes. When I realize that, I want to kick myself for how dumb I've been. I should have known that someone as fragile as Hanako wasn't just going to brush off what happened so easily, but I've been too eager to move on from an awkward situation to notice. She has been slowly shutting down for the last half hour, and I had no clue. Her pen is still in her hand, but she doesn't slowly spin it around like she usually does. There isn't a single idle movement from Hanako. Only the fact that she tries to inch away once she feels Shizune, Misha, and me looking at her tells me that she is even still conscious. We look away, and at least in my case, it's partially out of shame that it's gotten to this point. Though on the outside she has shut down almost completely, I know that it's a different story on the inside. What kinds of things could she be thinking about as she tries harder and harder to shrink into herself, as if by willing it she could somehow disappear? Everyone is looking at her now, stealing quick glances in between putting the finishing touches on their work. Misha attempts to ask her what's wrong. That only makes the problem worse. If she weren't frozen to her seat, she'd probably run out of the room right now. Misha's questions are loud enough to be heard throughout the entire classroom, and for a second I'm ready to snap at her because I can only imagine how much worse it's making Hanako feel. Of course, if I were to do that, it would only make the situation worse. I'd believe that Hanako had gotten stronger, and she has, but it wasn't enough, and I was too eager to believe it. Now she's terrified, alone in the middle of the classroom, and there's nothing I can do without drawing more attention to her. It's infuriating. Misha's worried, and even Shizune is biting her lip. None of us know how to deal with this situation, so I decided to call Matao. His judgment would probably be better than ours. I look up and manage to catch his eye, silently motioning for him to come over. I want to make as little fuss as possible about this. Since if there's anything that would make this worse, it's more attention being focused on her. I know that Hanako can see everyone staring at our group, specifically at her, because they know if there's a problem, it has to be her. Everyone knows her, and it's the first thing anyone's mind would leap to. Her reputation for being a truant has marked her as an unusual person, even an unusual Yamaku. Who knows how many times they have stared at her before? Maybe it's because she does see the class staring at her so much that she feels their gazes like she does, cowering from them. The time it takes Matao to walk over must be like an eternity to Hanako, and she looks as if she's about to fall over. Matao quietly begins to ask us what's wrong before catching himself as he sees Hanako. Did we upset her? Don't worry. Matao bends down after calming Misha and looks intently at Hanako's face. Hi, Ikazawa. Can I help you at all? His voice is hushed and gentle. Everyone's acting so differently around Hanako now that the whole class has noticed something's wrong with her. Hanako doesn't respond, so Matao gently rests a hand on her shoulder. She starts shaking at his touch, but won't even look up. Hanako continues to stare into the equations on her desk, vision so unfocused that I doubt she even sees them. She is worse than before. I remember that not even an hour ago she was able to talk to him almost normally. Mattel grimaces a bit as he stands again, and now that his expression's changed, I can see that he wasn't exactly unaffected by what happened yet either. He takes a breath to settle himself before speaking in a very quiet voice. I'm a little impressed at how quickly he takes control of the situation. Is that all? Nothing's wrong then? Mattel seems to say that to no one in particular. However, his words sound convincingly enough that most of the people who are looking over at Hanako now turn away, getting back to their work. He gives a quick glance to his left and right. Several people at the desks around us are still staring curiously, but other than that, we seem to have escaped attracting too much attention. Mattel notices me doing the same as him, and smiles a little, in his usual stilted way. I think for Ikazawa's sake that it would be good to quickly take her somewhere away from others. Nakai, Hakamichi, could you please take Ikazawa out of the classroom? I'll keep everyone settled, so please don't worry about anything but her, okay? He looks at Misha to tell her to interpret his words for Shizune, and she's already finishing her translation by the time he does so. It's remarkable how little thought she needs to sign, and she still looks quite dazed otherwise. Nodding, Shizune and I stand and move to either side of Hanako. Mattel steps back to allow us some room, and talks to the table behind us as some people there have begun to mutter between themselves about what's going on. We look at each other before lowering ourselves in unison, taking one arm around each of our shoulders and lifting. The two of us begin to walk at a slow pace to make sure we don't inadvertently hurt her. As much as we try to make this look normal, I'm quite sure that there would be many more gazes on us, if not for Mattel's distraction. What mean shit is Shizune doing now? They were asking where Sal was. He had went out with Lily to get a present for Hanako. They had went to town. And Hanako had thought that they were on a date, I think. And he was like, no, we were looking for Hanako a present. And she kind of like started freaking out. And she like shut down and stuff. Eventually, thankfully, we reach the door and go through. Nobody's outside, so we walk down the hallway. It doesn't seem like it's making her more at ease than she was in the classroom. Finally, I ask if she wants to sit down. For a while, we simply stay in place and wait for her to say something. Shizune tentatively rubs Hanako's shoulders a little, but there's no response. Eventually, she shakes her head a little when Shizune tries again. Both of us are looking at her, so we pick up on it immediately. Shizune's hand again comes to rest on Hanako's shoulders as she awakens, her face lifting to two very worried and anxious people looking at her. She looks at us silently for a while. I'm initially worried she might freak out or do something extreme, but those fears prove unwarranted as her expression slowly changes from an almost lifeless blank stare to a more normal withdrawn shyness. She wordlessly lowers her head, her eyes evasively moving to the side. She looks embarrassed, almost ashamed. Geez, jealous much? I think it was because, like her birthday got mentioned, I think is why she kind of like shut down. Mostly. I can't believe you slept through your Kenji voice acting, damn. There actually hasn't been that many lines from him, maybe like 10, if that. Because we're in Act 3 now. Act 2 was pretty short for her. I want to say something, anything to help. I can't though. I don't really know what just happened, or even what caused it. I feel helpless and ashamed of myself for not being of any use. Basically what you missed is Hasao and Hanako just became like better friends, and him and Lily went to the town to find her like birthday presents. So Lily got her a doll, and we got her a chessboard. Shizune sighs before looking at me. Even without words, I can tell what she's asking. I'll take Hanako to the nurse. Is that okay by you? I try to communicate my intentions through hand gestures, but I don't feel like I managed to get through to her very well. Shizune makes a dreary face in response to my gesticulations, confirming my impression. She stabs her finger in the air decisively, first at me, then at Hanako, and then towards the stairs. She waits for me to nod before pointing at herself, then pointing at the door to the classroom. Look, man, all women are evil, give me $20. That's basically what he does. Don't gesticulate at Shizune. Yeah, she didn't like that. I get the feeling that Shizune is much better at this than I am. I nod at her since her plan is after all the same as mine. Shizune gets ready to make her exit, but she only leaves after looking at Hanako for quite some time. Are you okay with me taking you to the nurse's office? Hanako doesn't say anything or nod, but she stands up in place by herself, and when I begin to walk, she obediently follows. I've read about people being catatonic before, but I think this time I'm seeing it for myself. She looks extremely tired. After everything that's happened, it's not a surprise. After Hanako silently takes off her shoes and lies on the bed in the infirmary, the nurse and I take our leave. He shuts the curtain behind us. We both take a seat, and I quietly and thoroughly go through everything that happened in quite some detail. I want to understand what happened, and the nurse has as chance as anyone of knowing. He nods throughout my explanation, his face looking troubled as I finish. It must have been very troubling for you to have seen all this. I'd be lying if I said it wasn't. I get that she fainted, but I don't really understand anything about why it happened or why she's acting like this. He nods, but his face is clouded. You don't know either? Well, yes and no. It's complicated. I assume you've heard about the concept of patient confidentiality at some point. This is a bit of a minefield in that respect. I'm going to put this pretty bluntly. This is a matter for Ikazawa, me, and her therapist. I move to protest, but think better of it. I want to deny what he says, but if I think this through rationally, what he says makes perfect sense. I understand. Good. I wish I could help you more, but I think what Ikazawa needs right now isn't somebody prying into her past or her emotions. She just needs somebody to be there for her. She needs a friend. For what it's worth, I think you've done well in bringing her here. Sounds like you and your friends dealt with the situation well too. I'd give you a lollipop or a sticker as a reward, but you might be a little too old for either. He gives a cocky grin, obviously trying his best to lighten the atmosphere. I'm not really in a laughing mood, but he does manage to get a smile out of me. Thanks. Do you mind if I stay here with Hanako? I appreciate the thought, but I think it would be better to let her rest for now. She'll be led back to her dormitory room this evening, so you could visit her then. I agree with him before standing. It feels like all I can ever do around the nurse is humbly agree to what he says, but it was the same with the doctors in the hospital too. Hey Benny, thanks for shouting out Hunter. Look man, women are evil, give me $20. Thanks for shouting out Zeebs too. How's it going, Zeebs? The walk back to the classroom is a long one, my mind feeling heavy under the weight of so many things happening so suddenly. I've actually been here for hours, just been chilling. Even as I re-entered the classroom, I'm thinking about Hanako. Same. Actually, anyone can testiculate at Shizune. I don't care about her, but Emi is yours. Good man, just gaming. That's good to hear. What you playing? My stomach feels like it's turning in knots while I think about how to deal with her. I still don't know what I'm going to say when I see her. Thankfully, the class doesn't pay me much heed. There are a couple of questioning glances, but overall, not many people seem to be very aware of what happened. Matao raises his eyebrows to get my attention when I pass his desk. Nakai, I take it Ikazawa's in the infirmary now. Yeah, I took her there and the nurse said I should let her rest. Matao nods, assuring me that I've made the right call. He scratches his chin for a second before rising from his desk. Everyone, I want you to continue with the exercise. Nakai, I'll see you in the hallway, please. His speech is hushed, but overall, he doesn't seem to be acting too differently from how he usually does. Being a teacher, maybe it's to be expected. As we go out into the hallway, I notice him taking a quick glance left and right to check if there are any students milling around. The hallway is nearly soundless, but I can't think of anything except waiting for Matao to speak. Nakai, what do you think the purpose of this school is? To cater to the needs of disabled students? Matao scratches his head as he shakes it. No, if we wanted to do that, we would have built a whole new school from scratch. One floor, talking whiteboards, that kind of thing. Look around, Nakai. This school is about giving you all a future that you would have been denied in regular education. Huh? Think of it this way. If we wanted you to graduate and go straight into a hospital, do you think we'd put in this much effort? The bluntness of Matao's statement temporarily stuns me, causing me to forget about the immediate situation. No? That's right. We want you all to leave here as useful members of society. I'm not quite sure I'm following you. I have high hopes for you, Nakai. You are possibly the first student I've had that gets my lectures. That isn't something that a teacher should be admitting so freely. You could easily take your studies of science well into university. Have you ever considered that? I can't say I have. Well, what have you considered? For your future, that is. I can't say that I put much thought into my future. For a moment, I'm distinctly reminded of Lily questioning me about the same subject. It's only been a little over 5 months since I was gasping for air on the ground. It's too soon to be thinking about the future, and besides, Hanako's problems seem much more bigger to me right now. Matao gives a disapproving sigh before continuing. Think of this place as an opportunity. Here you have boundless facilities, good teachers, plus the added bonus of the nursing staff. You should be doing nothing but thinking of the future. Right. As I raised my head to meet his gaze, a thought occurs to me. It's almost like Matao totally sidestepped the issue at hand. Excuse me, but why do none of the staff seem to care when Hanako skips class? I've seen you watch her walk out of class more than once. Shouldn't you at least say something? Well, Nakai, it's not really that simple. Every student here has special needs. If it weren't for that, then we wouldn't have a school here. For example, I wouldn't keep you in class if you were having trouble breathing, would I? But that's not... Matao cuts me off before I can even think about finishing my sentence. Ikazawa's case is very much like that, but instead of CPR or a pacemaker, what she needs is time and space. The faculty was made aware of this from the day she arrived here. Thus, whenever she feels the need to leave classes, we let her do so. And even though she isn't a star pupil, she seems to pass all of her exams, so it hasn't affected her ability to study. Isn't that enough? I open my mouth to protest, but I can't find a fault in his argument. While her condition does seem at first to be wholly physiological. Yeah, I said that right. Its worst effects have been on her psyche. It still puts me off though. Isn't he just passing on the responsibility for a problem? Surely she can't go on like this for the rest of her entire life. I understand that you might not be used to this kind of thing yet. It's been a big change for you. That said, it's less than a year until graduation now. Maybe you won't have to get used to this school. If you keep your head down, I'm sure you'll do well enough in your exams. I numbly nod, more to simply acknowledge that I'm listening than out of agreement. I feel like I was getting used to this school, but it feels like it's just been thrown back in my face. But what about Hanako? I hope that she'll perform well enough to do what she wants to do. What that is, I don't know. Not all students leave school with an idea of what they want to do, unfortunately. He takes care to emphasize the last word, as if it wasn't quite clear enough already. It gives me a moment to mull his words over. Today's been a troublesome day for you, and I doubt you'll be able to concentrate much anyway after all that's happened, so I'll allow you to take the rest of the day off. Your grades have been good in this class so far, which makes me think you won't have any trouble catching up on what we've been doing. He gives a small smile along with his praise, as if to make up for the seriousness of his lecturing before now. Go collect your things, and I'll see you tomorrow. Right, thank you. Mattel's roundabout speech has left my thoughts scattered. I'm still not any closer to working out what I can do to help Hanako. If anything, and my mind is all the more confused after what Mattel said. I'm also still bothered by the fact that Hanako was helped at least as much by Shizune, her enemy by proxy, as by myself, but I don't know whether that is just mere bravado or a genuine concern. While I collect Hanako's and my things from the class, I continue to try and sort out my feelings. I want to say that I understand her, and I'm there for her, but while I might have been able to say that just yesterday, I can't say it now. I wish I could. I lay on my bed, trying to collect my thoughts. After Hanako's panic attack, I found myself very fundamentally reassessing the relationship we share, and what I know about her. I had a hard enough time dealing with 4 months in the hospital. One look at her scars tells me that she was in one for a lot longer than I was. Be that as it may, I know next to nothing about her past. She has told me about the house fire, but that is only in the most basic way. And what of her family? I still haven't asked Lily about them. There hasn't been a good opportunity to bring it up. I don't know where she grew up, or what her old school was like, nor of her past friends, her wishes and ambitions, not even her taste in music, food, and movies, all the little things that I know about all of my old friends. Just what have I been doing for all this time I've been with her and Lily? In the distance, I hear the bell signaling the end of classes. With any luck, Lily will soon realize that neither Hanako nor I are around and return to the dormitories. There is a question mark unknown in the chat if anyone would like to catch it. My mobile phone starts to ring, cutting my thinking short. It quite startles me, as I've rarely been called since coming to Yamaku. I do want to catch that. Hello, Hasao Nakai speaking. Oh, Hasao, I'm glad I found you. You aren't in any of our usual places, so I thought this would be the fastest way to contact you. I probably should have guessed it would be Lily, and she's one of the few people I've given my number to. Even through the phone, her voice sounds slightly on edge. Hanako and I left class early. She had some kind of panic attack. The line goes silent. If it weren't for the background static, I would have thought Lily had hung up on me. I understand. Could you come by my room? I'd like to talk with you. Sure, I'd appreciate the chance to have a bit of a talk, actually. Good. I also have some bad news. I think we should discuss this in person. It's hard to grasp the seriousness of the situation from Lily's tone. She sounds so calm most of the time. That could be a good or a bad thing, depending on how you look at it. Okay, I'll be right there. I collect Hanako's school things from my desk and head straight for Lily's room. I rap my knuckles on her door, and she soon calls me in. Lily sits at the table inside her room, looking a little worse for wear. I guess that's because of the bad news. Following her gesture of invitation, I sit across from her and lay Hanako's things on the table. Well, there's no point in either of us waiting. Would you mind going first, Asal? What happened today? My memory of the incident is already beginning to fade, but I explain it as best as I can to Lily. Inviting Hanako to work with the group, Shizune and Misha's questioning, our foray to town getting discovered, and the subsequent panic attack. I asked Shizune's reaction almost as an afterthought, but Lily seems to take some kind of comfort in hearing about it. I guess rivals don't become rivals for no reason. There must be some history there, but now isn't the time to explore it. I see. She had said her therapist sessions were helping, but I had my doubts. It's quite a shame. Her birthday has caused problems before, but I had hoped that she would have improved with you around, and the more intensive therapy. Where's Hanako now? Last time I saw her, she was in the infirmary. I guess she's gone back to her room by now. She wasn't in the library or the tea room when I checked, so I can only assume that too. You said you also had some bad news. What's the matter? Does it concern Hanako? Lily shifts her position, the body's way of saying she's searching for the right words. My aunt has fallen gravely ill. I'm afraid I'm going to be heading back to Scotland to visit her and to spend some time with my family. What? Is she alright? When do you leave? I'm not altogether sure exactly how she's faring at the moment, but last I heard she was stable. I'll be leaving Saturday. It's the earliest flight that I could get. Stable. That's code word for needs to stay in the hospital. I've been stable long enough to know that, and to know that it doesn't necessarily mean someone's in good condition, but merely treading water. On the upside, stable is much better than critical condition. At least she's not on the brink of death. Stable. That's a relief. Yes, but this means that I won't be here for Hanako's birthday. I wanted to tell you now so that we could think of something before we told Hanako, and after today's events, I'm not even sure if there's going to be an issue if we simply cancel the party. I don't think that is such a good idea. Hanako already knows that we were planning a party now. To go back on that seems like the wrong thing to do. Also, we should do something for your going away, right? You make it sound as if I won't be coming back. If all goes well, I should only be away for a week, but possibly 2. That's one relief at least. With that in mind, what do you suggest then? Given the circumstances, I don't think karaoke is really appropriate. You're not going away for the greatest of reasons, so having too much fun would feel wrong. What did you do for her birthday last year? Last year, I literally couldn't get her out of her room. She locked the door. All I could do was leave food outside for her, making sure that she was at least eating well. This is perhaps the most depressed I've ever been I've ever seen and heard Lily act. I feel sorry for her, given how defeated she must feel to be unable to help her closest friend. Perhaps it would be better to throw the party before you leave then? That does sound like it'd be the easiest option. I think we should at least tell Hanako, both about your trip and her party. I have her things from class as well. That's a good point. Should we go and visit her now? I think that would be a good idea. Part of me is dying to see Hanako. The last time I saw her, she looked like death walking. These last few hours have turned me apart just thinking about that. We quietly get up and file out of Lily's room. Hanako's room is next door in the same hallway. Knocking lightly gets us no response, but the door proves to be unlocked. Lily pauses for a moment as the handle unexpectedly moves under her hand before opening the door. Hanako's room is startlingly bare and monotone. There are no decorations on the plain white walls, a plain dark blue blanket, and only a few books, papers, and purely utilitarian items on the shelves. Even her bedsheets are monochrome. The entire room feels as subdued as Hanako's character. Hanako herself is laying curled up on her bed. She may not be crying now, but her eyes are closed tightly to stop herself, and the tracks left by her tears still sit on her reddened cheeks. I quietly walk in and set her bag down on her desk, afraid of startling her too much. Hello, Hanako. Asal told me what happened today. Are you alright? Hanako's eyes open, though only a little. I'm okay. She tilts her head slightly to look at me, noticing my grimacing before I can hide it. Sorry for making you worry. Really, I'm fine now. She really doesn't look nor sound okay, though at least she seems more calm than she was before. She still looks as if the slightest breath could emotionally break her. I said it before, right? You don't need to be sorry for this. Sal's right. I shouldn't have hidden something like a birthday celebration from you. I see Hanako shiver at the word. Lily picks up on the silence that follows and crouches down to Hanako's level. I'm the one who should be sorry, Hanako. Hanako's eyes open to peer at Lily. She looks at Lily for some time, taking in her face with those dark, analytical eyes of hers. Lily must have made the right impression on her, as Hanako recovers enough to prop herself up on the bed, a shift is sitting on its side. Hanako worries about many things, but troubling others is foremost amongst them. Hearing Hanako shuffling, Lily moves forward and fills out the side of the bed, eventually taking a seat beside her, and taking Hanako's left hand in both of hers. The feeling of me being out of place when the two are together has lessened in the time that we've known each other, but it's still occasionally very much there. This is one of those times, I think. Lily, if you want me to go, I don't want that. Lily and I are both surprised at Hanako mustering her courage. A half-mumbled okay is all I can give her in reply, and I take her desk chair to sit in. Hanako, I'm afraid that I have some bad news. So Lily's going to break the news now. With Hanako having affirmed our relationship so clearly, perhaps Lily thought the timing was good, or at least as good as it will ever be. I can already tell that was about to be something bad. My aunt has fallen ill, so I need to return to my family for a time. Concern replaces Hanako's remorseful expression. Your family? You mean in Scotland, right? Probably, yeah. That's right. Akira and I will be leaving Saturday. So you're going away? I won't be gone for long. Probably only a week or two. I'll be back before you know it, and Sal will be here, right? Count was created 2 weeks ago, so yeah. That was like the first thing I looked up. That's right, I'm not going anywhere. Hanako seems to take only minor comfort in this, but she does manage to summon some resolve from somewhere inside her. Is your aunt going to be alright? I'm not sure. Silence falls. It's depressing that the only thing to truly bring Hanako out of her rut is another's misfortune. I decide to bring up the other matter that brought us here, to distract at least in part from the dismal feeling permeating the room. Anyway, we were thinking that it would be a good idea to have a going away party for Lily, and it could double as, yeah. I cut myself off before mentioning her birthday, as that seems to be a trigger for such fierce emotions within her. Lily gives Hanako's hand a gentle squeeze. Is it alright by you, Hanako? It won't be anything lavish or overdone, just something small in my room. So just in the school, just us? That's right, just the 3 of us. If you'd like, I could ask Akira to come as well. Okay. You're going only for a week? 1 week or 2, yes. I promise you it won't be any longer. Okay. Most people would be upset at hearing about a friend's family member falling ill and happy at having a party. But with Hanako, it seems that both events are on the same level. Alright then, you look like you need a rest, Hanako, so it might be best if we all went back to our rooms for now. You know that if you ever want anything, you can always talk to me or Sal, right? Lily's voice is pensive, an unusual edge for someone as confident in herself as she is. I understand. Thank you, Lily, Sal. Well then, good night, Hanako. Night. I let out a long breath after the door closes behind us. Feels a little like I've been deep underwater, and only now have I been able to come up for air. Lily doesn't seem to be doing well either. She looks pale and drawn. Are you alright? I'm just a little tired. It's been hectic recently. Have you slept at all? A little tired sounds like an understatement, given how you look. I think I managed to get a couple hours of sleep before class. I'll be okay. I feel bad about pressing Lily right now. I think both of us are pretty tired from everything that's happened as well. I think you should get some rest. It's been a big day, and staying up isn't good for your complexion. Thank you for your concern, Sal. Good night, then. Okay. Night, Lily. I leave Lily in the hallway as she opens the door to her room and begin to make my way to my own. As I walk down the quiet hallway, I can't get the image of Hanako out of my mind. Huddled and pitiable, lying helpless with tears on her cheeks. I began to think that she was just a normal, if extremely shy person, but her problems run much deeper. Trying to take our relationship further than what we share now when she's so fragile and vulnerable wouldn't be right. I don't need to be more than a friend in order to protect her, to try and stop anything like this ever happening again. The possibility of my feelings for her going beyond that doesn't matter anymore. Hanako is precious to me, and that's why I can't take advantage of her. But even so, there's still the sting that I feel when I think that way. For now, I need to sleep. Tomorrow hopefully will be a better day. Hanako is more noticeable in her absence than when she is in the room. I feel her empty desk calling out for me. I find myself peering over my shoulder endlessly, hoping that I'm hallucinating that Hanako will magically appear. She makes sure she's as small a presence as possible when she attends class, and though she has been getting better recently, that fact never changed. Nobody ever pays her any heed in class, and now that she's not here, they don't notice her absence. It's as if she just never existed. Lily did say that her skipping class wasn't an unusual thing before I met her, but it's still very off-putting. The bells heralding the end of school makes me jump in my seat. It's only now that I notice Misha's prodding me in the side with her mechanical pencil to get my attention. Hello, is anybody in there? Hey, stop that. Ah, there we are. Welcome back to Earth, Hee-chan. What are you talking about? You keep on dazing off into space. I was beginning to think that you might be trying to contact alien life. I really didn't get much sleep last night, so I don't doubt Misha's words. I'm not sure whether it was due to my medicine side effects, Hanako's panic attack yesterday, my worrying about her in general, or all three. There's a vanilla wish in chat if anybody would like to catch it. Okay, I guess I have that one, yeah. I yawned tiredly before resting my chin in my palm, having been reminded of how badly I slept. Hey, are you really alright? Yesterday kinda rattled me as well. Yeah, I guess. I wanted to speak to Hanako again though. Did you see her last night? Yeah, Lily and I talked to her. This may sound a bit weird, but can you tell Shizune thank you from both me and Lily? I know Lily technically didn't think Shizune, and I could tell by her reaction last night that she wanted to. At least that's how it works out in my head. I think what Shi-chan is trying to say is you're welcome. The furious sighing of Shizune's reddened cheeks tell me what she said was entirely different. Her blatantly flustered expression is amusing enough to make me chuckle. What's so funny, Chan? Was it something we said? No, that's not it. I was simply thinking about how cute Shizune can be at times. Wahaha, you're right. Shizune is really cute when she tries not to be. I noticed that Misha decides not to sign her response to Shizune. Maybe Shizune's rage is enough of a counter to any quantity of cute. Nevertheless, Shizune quickly calms down and signs something else to Misha. Oh, okay, Hee-chan. Shi-chan wants you to come and have dinner with us. Dinner, huh? Turning away from them a bit, lest I be swayed by their pleasing smiles, I begin to mull it over. The invitation certainly is tempting. A takeaway dinner with two cute girls is not a bad thing after all. The thought of Hanako locked up in her room, though, keeps dancing on the edge of my mind. Sorry, I'll have to pass. Aww. Misha doesn't sound my response, but Shizune picks up on it easily enough and grimaces in disappointment. What sucks is Misha is cute, but you know her and Shizune would be a package deal and you can't deal with that. She moves her arms, assumedly behind, beginning some form of either protest or coercion, but stops herself and taps Misha's shoulder twice. Once Misha gives Shizune her attention, the only statement Misha has on the matter is a shrug. Oh well, it's your choice, Hee-chan. I promise I'll join you two another time if that helps. Misha perks up at this, but Shizune doesn't share her reaction. With a flick of the head to signal for Misha to follow her away, Shizune simply raises her hand to silently wave me goodbye. As the two make their way out the door, I return the gesture until they're out of sight. I didn't think they would be so disappointed. It makes me feel a little bad for ditching them. Still, I have things to do. The girls' dormitory is especially rowdy today, with a number of girls loudly playing games and watching the television in the common room on the first floor. I can hear their voices even now, standing in front of Hanako's door. It's an odd contrast to the emptiness of the floor she's on. The voices from below make the emptiness feel all the more lonely. I had hoped Hanako would be in class today, especially after the talk Lily and I had with her last night. But I feel like I shouldn't hold it against her. It was a pretty awful episode, and to have experienced it firsthand must be all the worse. Not knowing what state she's in, I take a small breath before giving a few sharp knocks on her brown door. All I can do is stand and wait, doing my best not to feel anxious. As the seconds wear on, I begin to think she might be asleep, and didn't hear me knocking. The door handle rattles a little before I can raise my hand and knock again, though. The door opens a sliver, and I appearing in the gap, only just large enough for it to peer through. I'm sure this girl would install a peephole in her dormitory door, if only such a thing was allowed. I just stand and smile at her. I don't think words would really help here, though, after all. The act is returning kind, with Hanako wordlessly looking at me. The gap's not wide enough to see her expression, and I can only think what she's thinking. Time passes as we look at each other, the only sound being the disembodied gate leap from the ground floor. I'm not sure how long it takes, but eventually the eye moves away. I keep wondering whether she'll let me in or shut me out until the door slowly begins to creak open. Now that I have a full view of her in her bedroom behind, the first thing I notice is that Hanako's hair is quite damp. She's recently showered, which is made even more obvious by the scent of shampoo wafting towards me. The look on her face seems one of curiosity, as if she's not really sure what to make of me. Even so, I'm not really all that sure of what she's thinking. It feels as if she's gone away for a long time, and having now returned, neither of us knows what to say to the other. Hanako realizes she's staring, looking away awkwardly before turning to the side and gazing at her feet. I decide to take it as an invitation and step past her into the room, closing the door behind me as I do so. I can see her hands fiddling in the folds of the oversized gown that hangs from her shoulders. I try to concentrate on what I want to say, but the scent from her addles my senses. To my surprise, it's not me but Hanako that breaks the silence. Why? Because, why did I come here? I was worried about Hanako, so I came to her room. She let me in as I had hoped, and then what? What did I mean to do? What did I mean to say? Why didn't I think this through before coming here? I want to make up for what I feel I caused, at least partly. I want to try and remove the distance I feel between us since then, and to see her happy. How can I do that when I don't know the first thing about her? Kinda like Sadako? Sadako? Are you talking about from, Corpse Party? Like the evil little girl or whatever? Oh, are you talking about from The Ring? Jesus. I forgot that was the character's name. I've never seen those movies all the way through. I've seen like part of one, but just like a small piece of it, I think. I wonder if this is how Wanako felt when she saw me lying in that sterile pastel blue hospital bed. A deep sigh steadies my nerves a little and ends my stammering. I don't think I've ever felt this nervous around someone before. When I'm like this, I don't really think I can lie. Even though I could bring myself to, Hanako would see through it right away. You've never seen them either, you just know because your sister loves them? I don't know, I just wanted to see you, I guess. Her fingers stop moving, giving me a little surprise. Looking up at her face, she gives a sweet smile and a nod. That was a satisfactory answer for her. Since you're here, I'd like to play a game of chess with you. I almost hang my head in disbelief that that's all she wants to do after I've been winding myself up so much, is play a game. Looking at her face though, a tentative smile perched upon it. I realized this is more than that. She could not have bothered answering the door. She could have shut it as soon as she saw my face. She could have asked me to leave. She could have rejected me at many points, but she didn't. Now with this calm face, she wants to play the same game that we've played when we first really spent time alone together. A feeling of relief washes over me. Everything will be alright. Hanako has let me into her world. As long as we can be together like this, I think everything will be alright. It would be my pleasure. Dun, 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 dun. Alright. I think we will stop it here for today. A bit before the ad starts. Just because I need to get something to eat. But we got our third picture here for Act 3 for Hanako. If I remember right, all of Act 1 is like just based around Hasao, so that's like why the first Act 1 picture is always him. And then like Act 2, 3, and 4 will be based off the characters. That's why it changes. Stretch. Tomorrow I think we're playing Yakuza 3, if I remember right. It's been quite a while since we've played that. Let me make sure. Yeah, Yakuza 3 tomorrow. And we will be doing X-Files in the Discord tomorrow as well. Like I said earlier, next week, it'll probably only be a few days on the schedule since I have to get like some wisdom teeth removed. Because I don't know how that's gonna go. Because I have one that's in like kind of sideways. It's kind of like going into my jaw. So I don't know how painful that's gonna be when that comes out. Let me snooze that ad. But we will raid out. Thank you, Benny, for doing the raid messages. Let's see who is on. Let's see. I think we'll give Buff a raid. Buff is playing some randomizer and crowd control Elden Ring. That'll probably be a good time. You'll be alright as long as they do it right. Yeah, I mean, I've had 2 removed before, just because it's kind of like going into my jaw. It's like, I don't know how deep that's going to be, so I don't know how painful that is. So I might not feel like talking, like, for a couple days after that. But yeah, we're going to give Buff a raid. Thank y'all so much for hanging out. It was good talking to y'all as always. If y'all missed part of the VOD and y'all are interested in seeing, or missed part of the stream and are interested in seeing what you missed, I will be posting this on YouTube in a couple days. If y'all are interested in that, here is the link to the YouTube as well. But yeah, be sure to say hey to Buff. I hope y'all all have a good one, and I will see y'all later.